Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. It is your boy HMK here once again, and I'd like to welcome you all back to the fifth dimension. Now, are you ready to live within the reality that is the truth and existence of Kingdom Hearts 4 being very every day it shall be known that it is real? And for this stream, I had to get some amazing individuals, awesome friends, and big Kingdom Hearts nerds just like me. Everyone, please welcome my guests at this time: Erica Harlecker, Ndakuba, Sora Lam 1, Rogers Base, and Paul Castro Jr. We are here, we are live. It is time for the fifth dimension, but let me go ahead and introduce them one more time, one by one, to get their thoughts, their initial thoughts on the hype that is KH4. Everyone, please welcome Miss Erica Harlecker. Erica, how you doing?
Great. I'm gonna apologize in advance for if you hear my dog snoring. I'm on the floor.
Oh, Gus.
And he snores very loud.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's completely fine.
But yeah, I'm so excited to be here and talk about Kingdom Hearts 4. Ah!
You're right. No. Oh, like, yo, we all are excited. Thank you so much for being here on the show. I really appreciate you.
Totally, yeah.
Of course, of course. Next up, we have the Machine. Dean, the Machine. Sora Lam 1, Dean. It's time. You are back from the depths. How are you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm doing great today. I'm sorry, did I mishear you? Did you say Kingdom Hearts 4?
No, it's not a dream. It's real. We're here. Kingdom Hearts 4 is real.
Didn't Kingdom Hearts 3 come out, like, recently?
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 4.
Yo, it feels like it. Yo, honestly, man, I saw this post the other day. I'm like, yo, Kingdom Hearts 3 still feels fresh. And I agree with that.
Kingdom Hearts 4? I'm so excited.
Big Sam. We got plenty to talk about. But before we get into that noise, let's introduce our next cast member of this episode of the Fifth Dimension, Ndakuba. How you doing today, brother?
Hello, everyone. I'm doing good. Look, we're finally in the era, the good timeline of Kingdom Hearts 4. Not only that, I would just like to remind all of you that if you were here at HMK Street yesterday, I actually beat him with Sora.
It's not true. All right, Sora won. I was using Sora. I did not lose. I may not have won, but I did not lose.
Say less. I got the replay. You know what I'm saying? I'll post it. No.
Nah, it's good to have you here, man. Thank you so much for being part of the show.
Of course.
Awesome. Now, next up, I was actually on this man's podcast earlier in the week, and now we're bookending the end of the week with the Fifth Dimension when I was there on Japan time. Everyone, please welcome Rogers Base. How you doing today?
Thank you very much. I'm doing good, and I guess I'm with Ndakuba. We are both part of the We Beat HMK with Sora and Smash Bros. Club.
No. Ndakuba, I will admit you beat me, but Roger beating me, that is absolute cap. That is no.
I can go back to the video because I'm pretty sure I beat you the first time.
No,
you beat me.
Please.
No.
Pull it up.
To clarify, you did beat me every other time. However, the first time, which is one that matters, considering you were the one waiting so long for Sora, I wanted him, but you were the one who was telling me that it could always happen. I still beat you first, so I'm gonna hold that W. Yeah.
It's fine. You know what? It's fine. You know, Roger can talk all the smack he wants. I'm not gonna let him ruin my vibe. That Kingdom Hearts 4 is real. It's okay. It's okay. Say what you need. You know, I'll send you to Quadrom soon enough. You know, and then we'll see you playing the replay game.
I hope so.
Now, speaking of the Reaper's game, we're going to round out the cast with another good friend of mine, a big gamer and voice actor. Everyone, please welcome Lord Rindo himself, Paul Castro Jr.
Oh gosh, what's up, everybody? Thank you for having me. This is insane. It's insane.
Oh, you know what's gonna be insane? when I hear your voice in Kingdom Hearts 4. If you can't see it, but I'm winking very hard at the camera.
Oh, I hope so. Please, more World Ends With You content in Kingdom Hearts, please.
Dream drop distance too.
Yeah, but I don't want to get into the discussion too early. But like, did Nomura kind of say that it wasn't going to be in it? Like, what?
Okay,
did you see that?
Yeah, I did. Big clarification on that. And like, no, Erica, this is the 5th dimension. We're going right into it. We're going right into it. Okay. So to clarify on what Nomura said, all he said was that the Quadrum, the Shibuya Quadrum, and the Shibuya in The World Ends With You and the Shibuya in Strangers of Paradise are not connected. They're not the same world. That doesn't mean they still can't show up.
Okay, okay. So maybe it's like an alternate dimension kind of.
Yeah, and The World Ends With You deals with that all the time. You know, the UG, RG, all that good jazz. And the Stranger of Paradise is literally an isekai. And our boy Sora got isekai to the no-no zone. So,
wait, that's kind of crazy though, because when you think about it, right? Like he may have said that, but we already have The World Ends With You in Kingdom Hearts before. So what if he's happened?
And Sora promised Neku. He said he was in there.
That's in there. Yeah. So I was confused by that interview. I was like, what? No. What are you talking about, Nomura?
and honestly, when it comes to the whole notion about like, you know, Quadranum and like, you know, Shibuya, the difference, like you already know, because like in the Verum Rex trailer and the fact that this is obviously Shibuya and then that Sora's located in South Ayama, you know he's gonna see a sign that says Shibuya on it, and then the first thing he's gonna think is Neku. That's the first thing that's gonna come to him and say, wait, this is Shibuya? And then it's like, and then he's gonna be like asking Streletsy or whoever is like there is like, oh, do you know someone named Neku? And they're like, I don't know who Neku is. And then that's gonna be an avenue to explore. I promise you. I promise you.
Well, because we already have we have like Traverse Town and Twilight Town and stuff like that, and we have alternate versions of the same kind of town. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we have Quadratum, but then also Shibuya, and that Nomura wasn't lying in an interview saying that there isn't a relation, but it really is that like it's a separate Shibuya. That there's the Shibuya of The World Ends With You, but there's also Quadratum, which is based on Shibuya, but is not technically just Shibuya.
What if it's more like he doesn't have to be in a gummy ship to travel now? It's more like in Persona when reality just like shifts between places.
I like how you like the Persona voice actor brings up Persona.
I'm familiar with it, so I'm like
that's completely fair. And I actually, you know, this is the 5th dimension. I'm actually writing up a theory. This theory, by the way, guys, is coming out Sunday. All right. It's already been written up. I voiced it. I just need to edit it, but it's coming out Sunday, and Erica is really just like, okay, she's bringing it up, so I'm going to bring up the theory that I had, is that, you know how in the beginning of the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, where the mysterious narrator, who turned out to be Sigurd, is saying, oh, if this is the ending, if this isn't the ending you're expecting, or if it gives you despair, go to another world. Your options are endless. And then at the end of the trailer, it's like, oh, however, don't expect, you know, for you to end up home. What if Sora is able to traverse worlds, like Erica said, you know, kind of like the metaverse, just going between realities or whatever. He is able to traverse worlds without the gummy ship, but each of them is going to be a failed attempt to get back. And he's going to keep trying and trying, but he's going to keep, like, you know, going to this different world that only exists in unreality. And once he's done with that world, he gets shot back to Quadratum and it's like, all right, that try didn't happen. Let's try again. And as, you know, time goes on, he gains more powers, he gains more perspective, which is the big theme of Kingdom Hearts 4. And that's how you're going to be able to traverse worlds in Kingdom Hearts 4. And it's basically Sora's doomed journey to try and get back, because it's not going to work out.
So essentially, he dies in every world that he travels to, and that sends him back to Quadratum?
No. Not that. No, not that. Not that, Roger.
Okay, but honestly, that would be so cool, but also I would be so sad if we had to watch him die every time.
Oh, man. That would be really messed up. But
wait. I have a counter theory, though. Okay. So, although that would be mad dope, right? But we've already seen that there are different methods to travel to different worlds, right? We've seen the Birth by Sleep, like, you know, you don't need the gummy ship if you have, like, you know, like the armor from, like, you know, Keyblades and whatnot. And then we've seen anybody who's like a denizen of the dark use the portal of darkness to be able to travel through worlds. We even seen what's it called, Union Cross, that they use portals of light to go through to different worlds as well.
Yep.
So maybe if he's still, like, if he has like a strong affinity with light and whatnot, maybe he could use a portal of light to travel, or maybe Strelitzia will come out and give him some sort of new power that he'll be able to use to travel to new worlds.
He did that kind of at the end of oh crap, the one right before Kingdom Hearts 3 when he went to Traverse Town after Dream Drop Distance. That's what it was.
Yes.
Yeah, he did something where he doesn't seem like he took a ship. He just kind of like over there.
So that's when he still had the power of waking, and the power of waking literally can like take him to point A to point B very seamlessly. He doesn't really need a ship. But he didn't have
the power of waking yet at the end of Dream Drop Distance because he failed and was a jerk about it. Yeah.
So as it turns out, you know, from when he woke up Ventus, he had it but didn't have it. He couldn't use it like completely at will. So like he could use it in like I would say realms of familiarity. Since he was familiar with the Dream Meters in Traverse Town, he was able to use that in order to access the Sleeping World, right? But he hadn't mastered it at that point. So, and that was the main problem. But then after he woke up Ventus, he was able to master it, and then that's what led to him, you know, abusing it, and then here we are, Kingdom Hearts 4.
Okay, that makes sense.
So here's the question.
Yeah.
Do you think that we're going to be abandoning kind of the Disney worlds and seeing like vastly different new worlds if he's not going to be traveling by the gummy ship? Or we're going to be like going to Final Fantasy 15 world and stuff like that?
Oh, please. Okay. Well, I'm going to, if I may, HMK, I want to take this real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't know if you noticed, there's a scene in the trailer in which you see a forest. You already know where I'm going with this.
Yep,
where you see a forest, and very clearly, it's a freeze frame, like you have to stop the video, otherwise you miss it. But you can very clearly see the foot of an ATST in this forest area, implying that, like, okay, well, maybe, like, you're right, maybe we aren't going to go to Disney worlds, but maybe the Disney-esque worlds we go to in this one are all like live action type Disney things, meaning like Star Wars, Marvel, they could even do the live action remakes of like classic Disney movies where he's met Cinderella and then he meets the live action Cinderella and he's like, you're not Cinderella, what is this? Like there's so many different possibilities they could do with this. They could finally bring in Mary Poppins. I mean, there's like so many different possibilities.
I need Queen Latifah Ursula now. Like now. But to add on to the theory and to give my perspective of like, you know, what worlds will be traversing in Kingdom Hearts 4, because Nomura did confirm that worlds are in development right now. So like I had two trains of thought. The first one is similar to what Roger said, where we'll be exploring very, you know, I would say live action-esque worlds, Star Wars, possibly the MCU, Mary Poppins, all that good jazz. But then the second trail of thought is that, which will be a really messed up meta way of thinking of how Disney possibly views the properties under its banner, in which, you know, Disney films that are part of, you know, the anime lineup, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, all that stuff, is within that of reality. That is how Disney views them to be their true properties, their true creations. That's why Sora was able to travel them in the regular universe. In the unreality, in the fictional universe, to that perspective, Sora travels to these worlds that are owned by Disney, but are not created by Disney, thus is fiction to the, you know, Disney conglomerates, such as Star Wars, possibly Indiana Jones, possibly that of the MCU.
Oh my god, I didn't even consider Indiana Jones.
That would be an amazing world.
Yeah. So
Futurama?
like that.
Is that also Fox? No.
Oh my god,
it is. It is.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
But please no. Oh, Pandora, Avatar. Like, come on.
Oh, that'd be another really good one.
If we go to Avatar, I will lose my mind.
I feel like the chances are high because they want to make like 5 more movies. So like obviously they're gonna advertise that with Kingdom Hearts 4. And
wait, guys, Avengers.
I would love actually Wakanda. I think Wakanda would be a really cool place to start, especially with the theming of like the alternate worlds and different dimensions and things like that with Kingdom Hearts, right? Because there's the whole thing with the astral plane in Black Panther, right? That like you take the flower and you go and you meet the ancestors in the ancestral plane, and I feel like they could somehow tie in Kingdom Hearts lore with that in some way.
Roger, what was the name of the flower?
I have no idea. I don't remember. The Wakandan flower? I have no idea.
The heart-shaped herb?
Oh my god!
Oh, it's done.
All right.
It's done.
Confirmed.
Confirmed.
Black Panther confirmed. Yeah.
Maybe. We'll just have to wait and see. But I want to throw the ball over to Dean really quick because I don't think he's had a chance to talk. Let's get the next spicy subject going for Kingdom Hearts 4. Dean, I saw your reaction, but like, tell me about it. What was going through your mind, your heart, your soul when you knew that Kingdom Hearts 4 is on the way?
Okay, well, you know, I had maybe a little bit of a different reaction at first because I was a little bit uneasy when I first saw, you know, the style, the realism that was in the city and all that.
Understandable.
And I was like, you know, do I like this? I don't know. But you know, thinking back on it and thinking about the Quadratum subplot that has been building up since the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, and knowing that this style, it's not something that's going to dominate the whole game, perhaps. It's something that's just there for Quadratum, and they even tossed us a little hint with that, with the Donald and Goofy scene at the end. Knowing that, it's really exciting, and I think it's an awesome thing to see in Kingdom Hearts. And I'm super hyped now. I'm so excited for Kingdom Hearts 4. And my only caveat to that was, please don't try to make the gameplay seem realistic since everything else seems so photorealistic. And in their gameplay clip, it doesn't look like they are. So I'm very excited.
Nah, I could definitely go in line with your train of thought. And that's completely understandable. But I know the gameplay is going to be bonkers. I mean, because we saw it. But I want to throw the ball over to Erica because she has something to say about that line of thinking.
Yeah, I want to say that I totally agree. When I first saw it, like, okay, I feel like I'm in the minority where I've constantly, for Kingdom Hearts 3, I was like, please don't have, like, places with real actors in it because it just feels weird with, like, Sora, Donald, and Goofy there. And it's you know, Pirates is cool, but it's always a little weird to have them there. And there's so many classic Disney worlds that they still haven't gone to. So I'm like, no. So at first I was like, he's like a man with regular shoes and there's cars and I don't know how I feel about it. And, but it's grown on me. And I feel like if Donald and Goofy aren't there, it's not as weird, you know?
I've been saying, like Erica, I'm like, yeah. I do not want them to step 1 foot in Quadratum. Please don't. I don't need to see what cursed, like.
I feel like Disney's probably not going to let them because they'd have to be like such a different realistic art style that would be like really creepy. And I feel like Disney would be like, no. So I think they're going to send whoever they're looking for and be like, you go, we'll wait here. So.
But what if Sora went to a real life Disney theme park and the guys in the costumes are somehow Donald and Goofy that snuck into the dimension?
Oh my god!
Yo,
please.
what kind of Persona 4 nonsense? Like Teddy is like, oh yeah.
Wait, what if Donald and Goofy like turn into like humans? And then
that's a theory that
oh my god!
Oh god! Well, I mean, the whole series is just a fan fiction, so now we're going into really crazy fan fiction territory. But you know, it could happen.
I love the idea though that like when they come to the real world that they turn into like the characters you would see at Disneyland, right? With the big costumes on. And that's what they would look like. That they wouldn't look like the normal proportions.
There was a little theory that I saw that it was like, oh, what if like when Donald and Goofy comes to Quadrum, they actually turn into Magia and Aegis, who are, you know, Yozora's partners from the Vam Rex trailer. And I'm like, well, their names do mean magic and shield, which I felt was supposed to be like, you know, a counterpoint to like Yozora's companions to Sora's companions, but people were like, yo, what if they turn into them? I'm like, okay, listen, I don't know about that.
In that theory, then shouldn't Sora have turned into Yozora if that was
true? A lot of people's been saying that. I mean, look at his haircut. They were like, yo, that's just like, that's Sora? Nah, he kind of looking like
his eyes are the same color. Doesn't track.
Right.
Well, also, that whole scene where he decides to fight him, even though it's like, well, if you are Sora, then I'm going to kick your butt. So maybe that's...
Yeah.
I need my body back.
That's true, maybe. Yeah.
That's dark.
You think Sora's like a parasite.
So, going off that rail, I'm going to go ahead and throw the ball over to Ndikuba. He's got something to say about that matter.
Look, see, like going off of like what everybody was saying about their initial reactions of the trailer and whatnot, I think the one thing that stands out to me, and this is like more on like the technical like aspect of the game or the trailer, I should say, but it's the fact that it looks significantly, in my opinion, looks significantly better than Kingdom Hearts 3 does, even when we saw like the realism-esque style when, spoilers for anybody who hasn't beat Remind yet, you know, when you fight Yozora, when you're at Quadratum and whatnot, but it's just the fact that with that trailer, we saw like a realistic Sora in a realistic setting, and that was all Unreal Engine 4, which really surprises me because it's confirmed that they're porting that to Unreal Engine 5. So what we saw in that trailer is absolutely nothing compared to what we're going to get once the game is done. So like just having that thought in my head is just like, oh my God, wait, like this isn't it? Like this is just the beginning? Oh my. So
yeah.
I'm just gushing. Like when it came to my perspective of the trailer, because like I'm not gonna disregard people's abrasiveness to the art style, because it's definitely like a huge shift in art style. I saw it coming because of the whole Quadram storyline, but that's why I feel like that's why it didn't hit me as hard, and I was way more hyped for it. But I'm not disregarding people's like, oh man, I don't know about this art style. I definitely get it. But it just, like, everything came together in such a way, in such an avenue that I want Kingdom Hearts to explore for such a long time. Like, I wanted a Kingdom Hearts game that kind of had the flavors of a bleak adventure of, like, Sora finally understanding the consequences to his actions. Because for the most part, like, yeah, he's faced consequences, but he's come out on top always with a smile. But this time I'm like, okay, so Sora's in a new world. Sora's in a new perspective. Sora's in a new, like, realm of not only being, but also thinking. Right? He no longer has his companions. The only person there that, like, honestly seems to roll with him is Strelitzia. And I love all of these flavors that are coming together to explore a new arc for Kingdom Hearts. And Kingdom Hearts 4 is definitely something that is right up my alley, especially, growing up with Disney, Final Fantasy, Square Enix, all that good jazz. But at the same time, I'm very cautious for them, just like how Dean said earlier, that I do not want them, like, Dean said he doesn't want the realistic graphics to affect the gameplay, and I feel that, they've got a good grasp on that. I just feel that I hope Kingdom Hearts doesn't lose its identity in which what made me fall in love with it in the first place. I hope it doesn't lose that too much. I'm willing for it to, like, add more and shake it up, but at the same time, I want your heart to be Kingdom Hearts. But going off that, Erica has something to say, so I'm gonna throw the ball over to her.
Yeah, okay. Since we're talking about art styles, I'm gonna tell you what I hope is gonna happen. So, okay, especially if we're gonna go to, like, all these worlds with humans and not, like, Lion King or, like, whatever, Monsters, Inc. What if, instead of changing forms, Sora changes art styles? So, like, The World Ends With You art style, because that's such a different art style than Quadratum.
Yep.
It would be weird if they looked like Quadratum characters, right? It would be cool if he was in all these different art styles that were, like, I don't know. I feel like that would be a cool way for the magic to be different in this universe.
Magic in the making.
Yeah. So that's what I'm hoping happens, but I don't know.
That's a really cool, like, idea and perspective, especially if we're going to be dealing. I want them to really, I would say, bring in the power of Unreal Engine 5. Because if we remember from the trailer at the end where it shows Donald and Goofy in the Kingdom Share, they actually look like, in my opinion, they look miles better than what they did in Kingdom Hearts 3. And it looks like it was an engine. So I'm like, oh man, I want to see what you guys are able to do. And I would love for them to explore that with multiple different art styles. But now I'm gonna throw the ball over to Roger because he's got something to say.
Yeah, just while she was talking about it, reminded me. I'm wondering if maybe Donald and Goofy, the Disney worlds they go to, could also incorporate new Disney worlds. So, like, what I mean by that is, like, at the end of the trailer, I think he's talking to Hades, right? Like, they're talking to Hades at the ending? Okay, and I'm assuming that's because they think that Sora's dead, right? And they're trying to find him. And they know the first place to look would be the guy who's the Lord of the Underworld. I don't know why they think Sora's in hell and not in heaven, but whatever, that's fine. That's a topic for a different day. They know something we don't know. But anyway, but they go talk to Hades. But if you think about it, there's a lot of, like, major Disney movies that haven't been touched on whose primary themes are death. Like, I think one big one I'm thinking of is Coco, right? That potentially Donald and Goofy can go to the land of the dead and explore that. They could even meet the friends on the other side of Dr. Facilier and Princess Frog. Like, there's other really cool things they could do that are related to the cartoon Disney films and not necessarily the realistic ones, where maybe what you said is right, Erica, right? That you've got Sora maybe in these different weird art styles or these other realistic worlds, whereas Donald and Goofy are the ones traversing the classic Disney realms, and eventually they mash up or meet or something, maybe in, like, one of the live action remakes, or I don't know. But somehow they mesh up.
I have an idea. Like, Erica, I'm gonna let you talk in a little bit, and then we're gonna throw it to Paul. But like, yo, can you imagine? I don't know if I don't know if we're on the same wavelength, Erica. But can you imagine, like, so because 4 apparently in Japan is a big theme with death, right? Imagine Sora is able to go to these unexplored worlds of Disney films, like you were saying, Roger, that explores death and that explores different realms within that realm. Let's say, all right, let's use Coco as an example, right? And Coco had the realm of the living and the land of the dead, right? And then like Hades like, oh, go to Coco World, whatever. Sora is able to make it to the realm of the dead, and Donald and Goofy are able to interact with them there, but they can't bring them out. And in each world they keep going, and then they keep meeting up with Sora that is trapped in that death realm of each movie and trying to figure out, it's like, all right, how do we get you out this time? And then they say, all right, not this one.
You touch on, not to interject, but you touch on something really important too, right? Is like, in Kingdom Hearts 3, they went to the Frozen world for the first time, right? And the whole theme of Frozen 2, if you've seen the movie, is like the memory of water, right? That somehow they go back to the Frozen world trying to discover or retrace their steps and figure out maybe where Sora was, and that's where the whole memory of water thing from Frozen 2 comes into play, is they try to figure out, like, was there something we were missing the first time we traveled to Arendelle?
Oh my goodness. All right, before I keep talking, all right, Erica, like, the floor is yours. Go for it.
Okay. So I was thinking that it's a main game, right? And I was gonna be really sad if we couldn't have Donald and Goofy on our team, because for all the main games, they're always there, you know, and that would be weird. But, okay, what if they're traveling with Kairi? And then they're going to, like Roger was saying, all the Disney worlds that deal with death, like Soul and Coco, and like all these. Yeah, and then so, and we saw that Sora can kind of like project himself to Kairi at the end of Melody of Memory. So, like you said, HMK, maybe sometimes when they're there, they're able to like see him, but they can't talk to each other. Like, it seems like he couldn't talk to Kairi.
And then they use Kairi as a...
Yes, and then finally, Kairi can do things. And
oh my god,
that would be so cool.
Okay, I'm ready for that. No, all right, yo,
so
Square. We're like, please. All right, now we're gonna go over. Oh yeah, please. All right, Paul.
Yeah,
I
mean, I was gonna build off of like what Erica was saying. I really think that there's so many like players now in the mix at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, and even seeing like, you know, Melody of Memories, like, I think we're gonna be playing as more than just Sora, and wouldn't it be interesting if, like Erica was saying, you know, if we're controlling Donald, Goofy, Kairi. Also, I'm super hyped to see what Riku is gonna be doing. I feel like that's gonna be its own entirely. And I mean, you know, not to talk the world ends with you stuff, but you know, who knows what's maybe we see different things happening from different people. That's all I'll say.
Maybe it'll be like Birth by Sleep, how we do like the same story multiple times.
Yo, what if it's like I just got a perspective. What if it's a triangular story and strategy, triangle strategy, haha. So they send Kairi rolls with Donald and Goofy, goes to these worlds, and then they're able to pinpoint Sora's soul or whatever in like the closest aspect. They use Kairi as a conduit to communicate directly with Sora, and then somehow they relay that information back to Riku, who's looking for him directly in Quadratum. And then that's how the story like is gonna go, like Sora, Kairi, Riku, Sora, Kairi, Riku, Sora, Kairi, Riku.
Actually, on that front, right? Maybe it's okay. Sora's the realistic Disney worlds, right? Like the Marvels and Star Wars, whatever. Kairi is the classic Disney worlds. Riku might fill in on what Paul was just mentioning, not just with going to World Ends With You, but maybe that's our in with the other Final Fantasy realms. Like we go to Eorzea, we go to Midgar, and that would be Riku's angle on it. That those are the worlds that he goes to.
Yeah. All right, I'm on board.
Like I need Midgar, bro. Like, especially because, like, we never got to see the actual conclusion with Cloud and Sephiroth after Kingdom Hearts 2. I need
they're there.
They've been fighting for a decade.
Right.
They're there. But before we continue the gush, I'm going to throw it over to Dean. He's got something to say. What you got?
Yeah, so that's that idea about Donald and Goofy kind of interacting with Sora, but they're on the living side and Sora's on the afterlife side. You just made me like want to scream with that, but I wanted to bring up something about the idea with Kairi and Kairi being with Donald and Goofy, and how we talked earlier about how, you know, Donald and Goofy may or could possibly look like Magia and Aegis in Quadratum. What I really wanted was I wanted Sora to meet the real Magia and Aegis and kind of learn who Yozora is through his friends, and then maybe on the Kingdom Hearts side, Yozora made his way over there and he's gonna meet Donald and Goofy, and he kind of learns who Sora is through Donald and Goofy.
That'd be incredible.
And then Yozora can go to the cartoony Disney worlds with Donald and Goofy, and it'll be so funny because it'll be such a contrast to like how Sora is so friendly to all the Disney characters. Yozora is just gonna be like, "Hey, like I don't care.
Yeah.
Oh, what's up? Pooh?
Like,
what's wrong?
Not interested." Like,
yeah,
that's a cool idea, and I love everything about it except for the fact that then Kyrie again doesn't have anything to do.
yeah.
But what if Kyrie and Yozora roll together?
All right, okay, but like, don't move in on Sora's girl, okay? Like, back
No. Yozora has his own. Yozora has his own. He has his own mission to try to get the name of the story. Like he has his own strategy in place. But go ahead, Roger, real quick, because I'm gonna throw the ball over to Paul after that.
Perfect. I was just going to say on that topic, if we do play as Yozora in any world, I would hope that it's in another Toy Story theme one, right? Because that's where Vera Rex was first introduced. And I hope and pray, if he's just being a little whiny butt the whole time and not being nice to the Disney characters, that the new Toy Story world takes place in the incinerator in Toy Story 3. And that he has to learn to be good in these final moments before the aliens save him.
Why you gotta remind me about the incinerator scene? Anyways, Paul, let's hear it. The floor is. I was gonna say the ball's not yours. I mean, it kind of is, but like the floor is yours. Let's get it.
Yeah, no, I'm super curious to see how. I mean, obviously, not to jump too far, but obviously, Missing Link's coming up, and to see where Brain kind of is involved in all of this stuff too, and kind of my own theories and speculations on his relationship to Yozora.
This is the 50 minutes. Go for it.
You know, I think there's some sort of connection between those two, with Yozora and Brain in some possible way. But I'm also curious if we're going to experience Yozora or kind of the Verum Rex world, or kind of him as like a fish out of water, because it's kind of interesting that it's a game within a game, then within a game. You know, if he travels to that world, I'm just really curious to see how all of that will play out. I don't see a world where we don't have Yozora involved in this game. I just don't see it not happening.
Oh yeah, no, Yozora needs to be playable. He like Kingdom Hearts 4. Yozora, like, throw in as many playable characters as you can. I'm down for all these multiple stories, like, you know, it's been done, or multiple playable characters. Yo, bring in the character switching from Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't care. I just need Yozora in my life. But it's gonna be, like, I really like that theory, because I've been seeing it float around a couple of times when it comes to the whole ending of Kingdom Hearts Remind, when it comes to, like, Sora and Yozora basically swapping places, and then Yozora in the realm of reality using the clues there to understand who Sora is, to understand how he can, you know, possibly save the Name of the Star, maybe learn more about himself or whatnot, because I mean, like, Luxord was his driver and he made the journey somehow. So I'm guessing, like, ooh, can you imagine that Luxord was able to, like, the only way to get to reality is by swapping places with someone from there? It's like, who did Luxord swap places with? Oh wait, wait a minute. What if Strelitzia was like the swap, like between him, like Luke, but then Luxord made it back? All right, no, I'm sorry. I'm just going off the rails. So I'm asking you questions. Endakuba, you got the floor now. It's all you, brother.
Well, you kind of took like half of what I was going to say with Luxord and whatnot, because I was like, okay, we got to figure out like more of like what happened with him and whatnot. But on top of that, too, it's not just him, but also Demyx, because out of all the organization members, it's just those two. It's like, okay, where do they originate from? What's their backstory? Why did they do this? Like, we still have no idea. I mean, well, we have a faint idea of Luxord, but not really of Demyx, right?
Yeah, we have nothing on Demyx, bro.
At all.
I love Demyx, and I'm so annoyed that we got, like, no information on him at all. He's just kind of, like, bopping around again in Kingdom Hearts 3, and I was like, well, come on.
I'm telling you, like, Demyx is gonna, like, Sigurd is gonna turn out to be Demyx.
Yeah, seriously, Demyx is secretly the final boss of everything.
Like, people are talking about the Master of Masters is going to be Demyx. I'm like, you know what? You might be right.
I don't know how I feel about that. I'm like, if it happens, it happens. But I mean, like, okay, if Demyx turns out to be the Master of Masters, I feel that's gonna be way better than Sora being the Master of Masters. Because, like, you know, that theory, I get it, but, like, you know, I don't
I
want to
hate
take
that
away.
theory. Of Sora being the master of masters, because to me that implies that he like never gets back to his happy life and he like lives through the timeline like sadly on his own, and I hate that. So I don't like that theory.
And then also for me, the reason why I don't like that theory is that it takes away like the core of Sora's character, that he's not special, that he's come from nothing, and then like that's the beautiful message is like, oh, you can come from nowhere and you come from nothing and you can still accomplish great things with like the morals of this goofy kid who loves his friends. You know, I would hate for anything to like, you know, stain that. That's why people are like, oh, Sora needs to be a king. No, he doesn't. Sora needs to be a master. No, he doesn't. Like, Sora is perfect as he is, and I don't want anything to shake that up. So that's why I wasn't a fan of the master of masters.
Well, and Demet makes a lot more sense because I mean he has that line in Kingdom Hearts 2 where he's like, you do have hearts, don't be mad. He's the only one in the organization that seems to realize that they have hearts. Like everyone else doesn't seem to realize that until later. And so I'm like, interesting that he is so confident about that. Like how he knows a lot of stuff. I feel like,
and,
I don't know.
And that he does that switch in personality a little bit in Kingdom
Hearts. He does,
where he's like, come on, don't be mad. And he's like, silence, traitor. And I'm like,
he's a good actor. I don't know. I feel like there's so much about Demyx that we don't know. And he's like
an actor.
My favorite.
He's a clown on purpose, man.
Yeah, like, he totally is. Oh my God.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say like that also kind of ties with Lucio a little bit too, because I mean we saw like how his personality was initially, like, you know, with what's it called, Union Cross, and then I forgot which other game, but like we know, like, you know, he transfers bodies and whatnot, and like, you know, him being the way how he looks like now is not like how he initially looked like and whatnot, right? But we do know that, or at least we can assume that at Quadratum he's there too. That also ties into what happened with that black box, bruh. Like, where's Maleficent? Where's Pete? Where's that box? What's in it? I need to know.
Oh yeah, probably Maleficent and Pete are gonna be like still looking for that, and they're not gonna go to like the realistic Quadratum world. So maybe they'll be with Donald and Goofy wherever they're going. There definitely has to be two like stories going on at the same time for this to make sense. I feel like, because if it was a side game like Dream Drop Distance, I would be like, okay, maybe we'll only see Sora and Riku, whatever. But it's a main game, so we're gonna see all of them. I don't know. I don't know.
But honestly, like, there's so much to talk about when it comes to, like, you know, the back end of what happened with Kingdom Hearts 3, Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, you know, the black box. And, you know, it's funny because I never forgot about the black box, but the Kingdom Hearts trailer kind of made me not give a fuck anymore. Like, am I the one who feels that way, or, like...
Oh, I completely forgot about it.
I forgot about it.
Yeah. But I still want to know what's in it. Like, it's important, and, you know, it has Key Super on it, and you know, people keep on saying that, oh, what's the true name of the Master of Masters? And it's funny because the last time I had Benjamin Diskin on the 5th Dimension, he was like, I'm like, come on, Ben, you didn't have to say that. He was telling me that, oh, in the scene where he's like voicing young Xehanort, and then like aside from Ray Chase, apparently, like, I don't know how, but he was like, I guess, like, the voice director told him the name to, like, react accordingly. I don't know, like, basically, Ben says he knows the name, and I'm like, why'd you gotta say that? Because now people are gonna, like, what happens to you is not my fault.
You're telling me I need to go to lunch with Ben, is what you're telling me.
Erica, I am 100% sure, I like, as much as, like, okay, yo, Ben, tell me your secrets, I'm 100% sure it might have been a placeholder name. Like, it just was like, oh, his name is John, something like that, right?
His name is Darth Vader.
Don't do that.
Lightsaber keyblades? What?
I'm telling you, man. The Nomura playstyle Darth Vader figure is one of the sickest action figures I've ever seen in my life. Please, I swear, please, if you're putting Endor in this game, make Darth Vader be the secret boss for Kingdom Hearts 4 like Sephiroth used to be. Make him super badass. This amazing fight with the Nomura playstyle look, please.
Well, I mean, we're out of our mind here if we don't see the parallels between, like, Terra and Xehanort with, like, what's his name? Palpatine,
Paul, don't disrespect Anakin like that. All right, because no, you will not believe. No, actually, you will believe. You will not believe the amount of people like in my comments like, oh, why do you hate Terry? He's just Anakin from Star Wars. Like, no, he's not. All right, Anakin literally was being, like, you know, helped up by Palpatine from a young age. Terra literally just has Xehanort showed up like at frame 1. He's like, hey man, yo, come to the darkness. And he's like, yeah, okay, of course. And then Anakin, the whole reason why he decided to do that final dip into becoming Darth Vader was to save his wife. Terra, I'm mad because I'm not a Keyblade master. Nah, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I gotta interject.
Don't do
There's
it.
a grown man who just failed a test and had a tantrum and then ruined everything.
Thank you.
But we cannot like.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Terra got drip. Okay, have y'all seen his Keyblade? Ends of the
Oh,
Earth.
okay.
Come on,
Like,
bro.
you know, like it's funny. Everything about Terra is cool except his fucking personality. All right, it is like everything is cool. His theme is cool.
He's like, wow,
Like,
this clearly evil fairy seems trustworthy. Yeah. Oh, this old man that's constantly cackling and hunched over and darkness and blah. Yeah. He's my best friend now. Whatever.
Oh yeah, this pirate with a hook for a hand. Yeah, he's gonna be definitely be believable.
He's people say Sora's dumb, but Terra is so much dumber. Just man. And at least Sora's a child. Terra's 20.
And
Terra's a grown up.
And then people constantly compare. It's like, oh, why you're mad at Terra and not mad at Riku? I'm like, first of all, Riku never trusted any of the fucking Maleficent crew, and he was a child, and he was doing it for a good reason. He was like literally willing to sacrifice like his morality in order to save Kairi. Right? He had a reason. He had all the makers, and Riku was still a child. So I don't want to hear that noise. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Welcome
Terra
to the
was
Terra
just
Slander
grumpy.
Hour.
Yeah, right? He didn't even, like, what was he even trying to... He was just like, Aqua can't be better than me because I'm the best.
Yeah.
Jerk.
It's like,
Jokes on him. We all like Aqua more, so they...
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like,
maybe everyone in his whole life has liked Aqua more.
Damn. But then, I will not lie. At the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, where Terra was finally, reunited with Aqua and Vent, it's like, I understand their bond. I'm not discounting that. Nice. I did cry. But then what got me heated was at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 and in Remind, where Ericus is like, Terra, watch over them for me. It's like, why? For this shit to happen again? No! That's one. And then 2 was like, Terra's like all proud of Riku's like, look at you, you're a Keyblade master. And then it's like, now I got nothing left to teach him. I'm like, you didn't teach him anything!
You taught him nothing, you stupid idiot. Right? You came and were like, oh, maybe someday you'll have a Keyblade, little boy. Okay, bye. I'm gonna go destroy the universe. See ya.
Straight up, like Tuxedo Mask is like, my work here is done, but you didn't do anything. Like,
Psst, touch this.
I'm so glad that we can bond over our hatred for Terra. Because I hate him.
Oh my god. My brain just expanded. Yo, I've been a Kingdom Hearts fan since I was a kid. And I literally just lined this piece up. The reason why Riku and all that stuff is in the realm of darkness with Aqua at the same time is because it's... God dang it. Oh. It's literally all Terra's fault.
It's all Terra's fault. Exactly. Everything's Terra's fault.
You know that meme, that's the Spider-Man meme where it's like Tobey Maguire, he's putting on the glasses and it's like, oh, he can see better and stuff. It's like the first frame is Birth by Sleep. Tobey Maguire puts on his glasses and then the actual name is God damn it, Terra. Like, that's it.
Terra is to Kingdom Hearts what Toby Rama is to Naruto. That's the relationship right there.
Wait, remind me, who's that again?
Toby Rama is literally the reason behind everything bad happening in Naruto. He's the one who makes like the Edo Tensei. He's the one who's mean to all the Uchihas.
The moon guy, like
exactly.
Okay, all right. Yeah, the guy who's behind everything, and then like, oh, him and his brother like reincarnated Naruto and Sasuke. I know what's up. I just don't know names. So
Second
Dean,
Hokage.
Right? Yeah.
What's
up? I was thinking of the moon guy that was like part of Kaguya's clan. Set everything in motion.
No,
you know what I'm talking about, right?
That's Moon Knight, Mark Spector.
Stephen Grant.
Look at that. It comes full circle.
It could be in Kingdom Hearts. That's true. It's a very moon-heavy franchise.
Yeah.
And then he'll go to Egypt to meet Moon Knight, and then he'll go to Yu-Gi-Oh! Land, and it'll be great.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Land? It's called Millennium World.
He's well-versed in battling with cards because of Chain of Memories. It all connects.
He doesn't remember, though. Maybe, like, every time he fights Luke, it's like, is this how it works? And then it's like, I place my monster in defense, so I'm like, why are you putting the card down like that? It's not like that. Like,
maybe Luke Sword is from Yu-Gi-Oh! World.
There you go. That's his history.
Luxord was
All right,
actually an
I've connected it
archaeologist
all.
the whole time. Like,
yeah.
Nah, I believe it. Can you imagine, like, I'm just imagining, like, you know, Luxord, Strelitzia, Sora, and Yuzora all having game night, and then Luxord's, like, DM in, like, Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh my God,
and then Sora's like, I like to roll for initiative, and he rolls a 1, and it's like, welcome, you're here, you're never leaving now. Like,
Yeah. Aw.
Oh, no.
no.
oh my God. But, I'm gonna throw it over to Dean, because, like, Dean just, like, was, like, putting up with all of our nonsense really quick. So, Dean, let's talk about the gameplay for a little bit. I know you're super excited, among other Kingdom Hearts fans, for the confirmation of the return of reaction commands. How do you feel about that?
I love it. I love it. Reaction commands. They in Kingdom Hearts 2, there's a lot of really technical ways actually you can activate reaction commands by interacting with the enemies that a lot of people don't know about. A lot of people kind of assume it's just straight up quick time events and that's it. But no, you can
Force
the way you use them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the way you use them environmentally in mob battles is insane. So I'm super hyped to see reaction commands come back and
Yeah, that's cool.
just like really specifically, not even on a gameplay aspect, but what I kind of really missed from Kingdom Hearts 3 was the way that Sora would respond to his enemies with reaction commands very specifically and kind of use their own tools against them and sauce on them at the same time and flex on them. Like, I really missed that in Kingdom Hearts 3, and I'm just like, that's like my favorite part of reaction commands coming back. I want to see Sora just style on them again.
Right, like that was a big thing that was missing from Flu. I agree. Like, I didn't hate I actually like situation commands a lot, but I mean reaction commands, in my opinion, are the superior ones. And, like, you know, just him taking the powers, taking the items, taking the stuff from your enemies, like, haha, nah, this is mine. And then, like, obviously that seems to be, you know, built upon, haha, on the scrap and build function that Nomura's confirmed for Kingdom Hearts 4. And, like, my favorite reaction command, I feel, is like the Marluxia data one, where he just, like, takes the scythe to restore count, and then he just, like, bops him and just throws it straight back at Marluxia. I'm like, oh, that is so cool. That's why I got
Sora's
the vibes.
so cool.
Right? I got those vibes of the drill, and I'm like, yo, he's just sending back the darkness he just shaved off your fist. How do you feel? Like, how do you feel? Crunchy.
HMK, how do you feel about Sora stealing both of Roxas's Keyblades and then beating him up with them?
What, dude? We were having such a nice conversation. Why? Oh my God.
That's
yeah,
my boy.
Well,
Get
to
him.
be to be fair, Dean, that wasn't a reaction command. That was just a very oddly specific quick time event, but fuck you. I'm gonna throw it over to Koopa. It's all you. Oh my God.
No, yeah. I think one thing that's actually very interesting is the fact that, you know, we see, like, you know, all sorts of stuff concerning, you know, Sora and the gigantic dark side, right? We even get to see, like, the new like chain grappling mechanic, right? But the one thing that they didn't actually show us was actual combat. Like, we saw the reaction command, but we didn't actually get to see combat. And I think that's also important to point out, because I know, like, initially when Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, like, people were having worries because it was if I'm not mistaken, it was the Osaka team that made that game, right? Yeah. Which they're also known for making, like, you know, Birth by Sleep, etc. And people have voiced their concerns because compared to the Tokyo team, the Osaka team makes their combat very floaty, right?
Yeah.
But when Remind dropped, it's very clear that they've learned from all the feedback. Okay, we shouldn't make it as floaty. We should make it slow. We should speed it up, make things a bit more practical to be used, right? So that's what I'm more curious about, right? Because, I mean, again, Sora looks great. He's finally wearing Converses, which is kind of clean. He has the chain grappling hook, which is great. But I want to see combat. I want to see if it's going to be slow and floaty, or at bare minimum, it'll at least be like how it plays in Remind.
Right. And I'm gonna tell you right now, like, I understand, like, the concerns of, like, the Osaka teams, like, you know, I would say vision or style of gameplay as Kingdom Hearts has continued to evolve since 1 and since 2 and whatnot. But after Remind, I am telling you right now, after Remind, I have no doubt in my mind they're gonna knock it out of the park with 4, especially with, like, you know, how good it was. Like, it,
So
you know, a lot of people, a lot of Kingdom Hearts 3 detractors, like, played Remind. It's like, oh wow, that's spicy. But Dean's got something to say, because you know, Dean's our resident gameplay expert. Let's get it.
Yeah, so On them not showing gameplay yet, it's quite normal, I would say. Maybe the first trailer of Dream Drop didn't have real gameplay, and the first trailer of Kingdom Hearts 3 was all fake CGI to look like gameplay. So they're kind of continuing this tradition again. I definitely think what they were showing was in-game, but most of it was like very scripted, not really someone controlling things. You can very clearly tell. So I'm sure we'll be seeing some real gameplay soon. And I am one of the people who for years upon years talked about Osaka team, how I'm worried about how they're gonna do Kingdom Hearts 3.
I
played Kingdom Hearts 3 when it came out, and I was like, this is fun, but it's something's missing. I'm not completely happy with it. And then Remind completely blindsided me, like turned me upside down. I have never seen such a stark contrast in gameplay from Kingdom Hearts 3 to Remind. Like Remind, I owe my life to Remind. That is like one of the best things I've ever played in my life, and I have no worries for the gameplay this time. If they got the same people working on the game this time, it's so refreshing to just not be worried and just be excited. Like this is so awesome. I can't believe Remind exists, bro. I cannot believe Remind exists. And I cannot overstate to you how good that gameplay is. Oh my god.
All right, so 2 things to follow up on Dean. Dean, that's still like one of my favorite reactions like ever when you're like, okay, what new abilities? Quick slash, flash step.
Yeah, still gets quoted to me to this day.
Oh my god, I love that. I love that. And then following up, this is random. I'm just thinking about, isn't it like, I'm pretty sure it either Remind or base Kingdom Hearts 3, aren't you like the first person on Xbox to get a certain trophy and then you just sold your Xbox back?
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't Kingdom Hearts 3 though. It was Kingdom Hearts 2 FM. I was the first person to beat it on Xbox.
Oh, what?
I got the Xbox achievement. It said you were the only person in the world who had it, and then I returned my Xbox because I only bought it. I only bought it to see how the Cage collection runs.
Wow.
Man, the machine.
Impressive.
That most impressive. So Erica, you're up next. Let's get it.
Okay, so I am wondering what you guys think about how far in advance Nomura has planned things, because originally I was like, all right, I feel like he played Kingdom Hearts 1 and then it did well, and then he was like, oh, okay, I'll build on it, and then he's kind of been, flying by the seat of his pants a little bit as we go. However, I was thinking about it earlier today, and the very first thing we hear in Kingdom Hearts 1 is any of this for real or not? And now Sora's in a world where Kingdom Hearts is not real. And I'm like, is there a chance that he planned this the whole time? Because
I'm a firm believer in the camp that, like, okay, so when it comes to like the actual like outline stories or full written stories, I like, obviously not, like, but I am in a firm believer of the camp, because I mean, come on, like people sandbag his way of storytelling and his way of story structure all the time, but I mean, like, when you experience the story, it's a story better experience than to be told. Like, if I tell you Nomura's like story about Kingdom Hearts, people are like, oh man, it's convoluted and messy. I'm like, yo, if you actually played it, you can actually see, like, the cohesiveness of it a lot better. I am a firm believer that this man had a bullet point, that, like, at the very least, like, bullet points where he's just like, okay, this happens, then this happens, then this happens, I'll flesh that out later. But I believe that he does have bullet points in advance, like very far in advance. That's what I believe.
think?
Yeah.
I'm like, part of me, Kingdom Hearts is basically a big fan fiction, which is why I love it.
It is, yeah.
And so I'm like, do you think in his heart of hearts, when he started, he wanted to do the trope of like, kid from our world ends up in Disney World, and Disney was like, no, that's too tropey. But then so that's why is any of this for real or not was in there, and then he finally was like, well, he's gonna go to the real world eventually. And
I don't know about all that, because I feel like if this is real or not, I feel that only beckons to the whole concept of Sora going beyond that of his own world and then seeing other worlds. Because I mean, like, before all the worlds were connected, Sora's own understanding of like, this is it, this is all the world. Riku wants to go find other worlds. I was like, what do you mean by other worlds? Like other islands or something like that? Are you crazy? But other worlds, like, beyond that of his own, that is like completely different from the islands he's used to. I feel that is the perspective of like, oh, if any of this is real or not. But I will say this, as soon as he stepped down, no, as soon as he was told that Versus 13 would become 15, he had this in his pocket. And like from that long ago. He's all right, yeah. So Verse 13 is gonna be 15. He's like, all right, gotcha. All right, I'm gonna hold on to that. And then now we're finally into fruition. But on that perspective, I'm gonna throw it over to Paul. Let's hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I think kind of even what Erica was saying, but doesn't Yozora and don't Sora and Yozora both say that at the same time?
Yep.
Right,
Yeah,
they said it there. So and I don't know if it necessarily it feels like to me that Kingdom Hearts 1 could have existed as its own game in a way where like the whole Ansem thing feels like that kind of came later, but and I just feel though, because like what Chain of Memories is the next actual game, right, in the storyline. So I feel like that into Kingdom Hearts 2 and even 358, like I just feel like at that point he had so much developed with Organization 13 and at least this world in which Xehanort is going to become basically a main character of this entire series. So I feel like 1 was an independent thing, and then that kind of transitioned. As soon as he like got the green light for Chain of Memories and 2, I feel like that was like, okay, I have all these crazy ideas. This is where I want to go. And now he's getting to run rampant with the freedom he has to use Versus 13.
What a champion! He did what every fanfiction writer wishes. He just got to actually make it a real thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's jealous.
No, it's just like I really that's one of the reasons why I love Kingdom Hearts so much is because like, you know, you can tell this man like really loves the story he's building. Sure, it's not the cleanest story. It's a bit sloppy at sometimes, but he's genuinely having fun as he goes. He's genuinely enjoying the story he's telling us. And like that's why I'm like Nomura Unleashed. And a lot of people really wish their products were that, you know, like accepted or that, you know, beloved or and all that good jazz. And I'm like, yo, that's why I love Nomura in Kingdom Hearts. And then to build off a little bit what you said, Paul, I feel like that goes back to my point of like the whole bullet point thing. Like, you know, Kingdom Hearts 1, he does it, and then he obviously sprinkles in like all these things within one, like you know, secret reports, the secret movie, and it's like, okay, like just in case of the green light, I have these bullet points ready, just in case if I get the green light, you know, I'll just build upon it. If it does, it is what it is. Because if you guys remember, during that time of Square Enix, at the time it was called Squaresoft, they were in really big trouble. Like the financial stability of their company was in shambles because of the failure of Spirits Within, and that it put the deal between them and Enix in jeopardy. It was Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy X that helped save the company in order to have that merger finally happen. So to see that success from Kingdom Hearts is like, oh, okay, so people are actually digging this. And then going off what Paul said is like, okay, now it's time. All right, Chain of Memories, 358 Days, 2, Organization, like I'm going in, right? So that, like, you know, circles back to what I was saying earlier.
I feel like maybe also at the end of 2, he wasn't sure if it was going to continue. Because that was a very, like, wrapped up ending, it felt like. And then after that, once everyone loved Kingdom Hearts, then from then on, he's been like, okay, no wrapped up endings. It'll continue forever.
Well, do you all think that 4 is going to be like how many more Kingdom Hearts do you all think there's going to be?
Isn't there as many as it's gonna make money? Are you kidding me?
As long as Nomura is alive, there will be more to the story.
Yeah. I do think though.
Hopefully, he doesn't get too burnt out, though. You know.
I know. No. Yeah.
I'm sure they'll do it in groups of 3, right? I mean, like that's you have a trilogy is like a normal thing, and I feel like this one and then whatever the next 2 are, and all the side games in between 4 and the inevitable 6. I'm assuming they'll all be part of this Lost Master arc, right? And then the next thing afterwards will be whatever the next story arc is. Who knows? By that time, Disney might also own a country at that point, so who knows? Maybe he'll go to
Kingdom Hearts Topia. Now
the other acquisitions.
Dean's been waiting for a little bit, so we're gonna throw the ball over to Dean. It's his turn to talk. Let me hear your thoughts. The machine.
Yeah. So
what the fuck?
Kind of what like Paul was saying earlier about Nomura kind of having these ideas for Kingdom Hearts 1, but not sure if he's going to continue until he got the green light for future games. To offer some perspective on how I think Nomura goes about writing, I think Nomura, he's very meticulous and kind of free flowing with how he writes. He has stated that he always likes and wants people to speculate on what's going on in his story.
Exactly.
He wants it to live in your mind afterwards, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of like the line, is any of this for real or not, calling back to Kingdom Hearts 1, I don't think he planned that specifically, and I'll tell you why. Nomura, he leaves stuff open, and then he may come back to it later. You may remember Kingdom Hearts 1, Disney only allowed Nomura to use Mickey Mouse for one scene because they weren't sure about their property. So Mickey shows up at the end of the game, and he has like his normal Disney design. He's shirtless and all that. In Kingdom Hearts 0.2, Nomura felt the need to go back and kind of explain why Mickey was shirtless.
That's so
in
cool.
That scene.
I love that so much.
I love that detail. It's so funny.
So I think he just like he looks back at his old work and he's like, how can I make this work? Or what's cool about this? And then he kind of writes it in to modern times.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're right on track. I think that's exactly what's happened. And you know what? It's very impressive that he was able to link it back all these gajillions of years later. So
yeah. In the middle of the Dark Seeker saga, he actually had an interview where this was like a little bit pre-Kingdom Hearts 3, but he had an interview where they actually asked him, hey, Nomura, how much do you plan ahead for these games? And he says, you know, I write the current game and I usually have in my head, I have an idea of the next game and maybe the game after the next, but that's it. And I think that sounds about right for how the games play out. Like, I don't think he's any like Ichiro Oda in terms of how he writes, but I think he's great at like pulling back the old references and getting everyone hyped.
Right? Until he makes it a lot too. Don't give him that much credit. Like,
hey, listen. Because I mean, like, it was cool. Like, in Kingdom Hearts 3, I was like, because a lot of people were really expecting Kingdom Hearts 3 to just specifically build off of 2, and then Dream Drop Distance, and then like Birth by Sleep a little bit because we hadn't saved Aqua, Terra, and Ventus. But I loved how Kingdom Hearts 3 was all like, hey, you guys remember Chain of Memories? That was a game. And I'm like, bro, like the amount of Chain of Memories like references in Kingdom Hearts 3 was actually way more and like super cool than I expected. Like the whole like Riku replica subplot, and I'm like, dude, I never thought I would see this dude again in my life. And then like it was actually pretty substantial, and then that's how they got nominated back. And I'm like, that's so, I love this game. Oh my god. All right, so we're gonna throw it over to Roger.
So real quick, just because when you guys were talking about the fan fiction thing and how much he obviously loves these worlds and these characters, it reminded me a lot of Smash Brothers, kind of like how we see Smash Brothers as a franchise, right? That it is basically this giant fan fiction, all these characters coming together, all this crossover. I think that's why you see so many Smash Brothers fans into Kingdom Hearts and then vice versa, which then transitions me into asking a question that I'm almost afraid to ask, but I feel like if I'm ever going to ask it anywhere and get a good answer, it's probably this panel. Where in the canon does Smash Brothers take place when Sora goes through the Kingdom Hearts?
Oh no, Let me. Oh no, I'll answer. I got you. I got you. All right. I'll give you like the most definite answer that I can, Roger. So, as we've known that Sora has the ability to enter dreams or enter dream worlds or make like dreams into worlds, make that real as he was sleeping. I honestly firmly believe that if we're going to be talking about the perspective of where the Super Smash Bros. Could possibly enter the Kingdom Hearts, storyline is right after Kingdom Hearts 3, at the end where Sora, fades away due to abusing the power of waking. And thanks to his dreams, he is able to utilize a form of the power of waking, but not quite, in which, like, it's Kingdom Hearts 3 soul that's able to inhabit Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora's body. And then, remember when Sora was asleep in between that of Kingdom Hearts 1 and Chain of Memories and Kingdom Hearts 2. So he was able to send his heart and mind back to his body during that time, because that's how time travel works in Kingdom Hearts. And then while he was dreaming in that state, he was able to enter the world of Super Smash Bros., which would explain why he has Magic Flash, why he has Finishing Leap, why he has all of these moves that are spread out throughout the entirety of the Kingdom Hearts games, including God versions of his spells in Smash Bros.
his
So
alternate
that's where I feel
costumes
like-
too. He could be Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, 3, or the
Exactly, or Dream Drop Distance.
classic one.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
all that array happened, but he was able to retain all those abilities while inhabiting his Kingdom Hearts 1 body that was still asleep during the time of
Good enough. Good enough for me. That's fine.
That's why I believe.
I like that interpretation.
I like
actually.
it too. It's good
I'll buy
enough.
it, yeah.
I was just gonna say that I thought it would be him sleeping in the pod between Kingdom Hearts 1 and Chain of Memories, and that's only because the CGI that they used to bring Sora in through the keyhole is the same exact CGI they used at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah, when he's
depict
flying
Sora
back.
sleeping.
Yeah,
Yeah, and in the
when he's
Kingdom
like,
Hearts 2 opening. Yep.
Exactly.
Maybe like Super Smash Brothers, all is just Sora's dream. It doesn't exist at all, and that was.
There you
just-
go.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say it's his dream. It's dream drop distance. Yes.
Because remember, the first Smash Bros. Game, it took place within the room of a child, and I'm like, oh, what if that room actually turned out to be Sora's room? You know, before he moves to the island.
Actually, see
Wait.
that kid. The greater idea behind this, right, is that kid's room that has Master Hand in it and the toy box from Smash 64 with like the trophies from Melee and all the different pieces from every other Smash Brothers game. That room is actually in an apartment in
I
Quadratum.
knew it. I knew you were gonna say that.
That'd be the ultimate Easter egg.
I love
Oh my
it.
god. And then like the Master Hand and the Crazy Hand, you know, those are just floating Mickey gloves.
No,
That's right.
Yeah.
And because Smash Brothers is manufactured, right? It's a video game. Technically, it could be an alternate data world too, and that potentially it could be the data world of Quadratum in the same way the data world is to the original world of Kingdom Hearts.
Wait.
It's all coming together.
Wait,
I
so
got it.
maybe the Sora that's in Super Smash Brothers is the Data Sora, not
There
the
you
real
go.
Sora.
There you
could
go.
be.
Shane. Could be.
Wait, what if Master Hand is actually the right hand of the Master of Masters and Crazy Hand is the left hand of Lushu? Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
Nah,
Anything's
given how
possible.
crazy, given how crazy the Master of Masters is, I believe it. But that was a nice excursion in the fifth dimension. But like, you know, a lot of people's been always asking that. It's like, oh, is Smash Bros. Canon to Kingdom Hearts? I'm like, hey, listen, come on. Like, but I mean, maybe. I don't know. We'll find out.
You bet it is.
Like what? Didn't the Sonic the
you
Hedgehog
want it
team
to.
say that Yeah, exactly. They were like everything Sonic is canon to Sonic. So I feel like Kingdom Hearts, because of what it is inherently, could just basically be the same thing.
Yeah,
Right.
as long as you're willing to justify it, then sure. Why not?
Exactly.
Let me tell you, if any series on this whole planet is going to make an appearance in Smash Brothers canon, it's Kingdom Hearts.
Oh yeah, no, it is. I could just imagine it's like, oh, let's say wakes up Sora in one of the days. It's like, oh, it's like, it's like, how's your nap? It's like, oh, it's pretty cool. You know, I met all these characters. I remember this one guy with a red hat, and then that's it. They never bring it up again. But just that one scene, I'm like, okay,
like it.
listen.
What if, okay, because in Quadratum, the theory is that Kingdom Hearts is like a game there, like how, you know, opposite. So what if they have Super Smash Brothers? And so that's why Sora's in it, because he's one of the popular games there, and all the other games also exist there as games, just like in our world. And then
Right.
Sora can play Super Smash Brothers with himself. And it's gonna
And then
be
he
great.
gets bodied. And then like I was just
That's right.
thinking about the idea
But he
of
still
like,
beats HMK for sure.
no, Roger, that's not true. All right, Sora can't even use a computer. All right, let alone a phone properly. So, I was thinking about a thought where Sora is like exploring Shibuya, and then he just pops into a store, and he just sees like a fucking play arts of himself there, and he's like, yo, what? Like that's me. And then the shop owner's like, no, that's not you. Look, your hair is different, because of course, you know, Sora's hair is kind of different in Quadratum. It's like, no, but that's me. It's like, no, it's not. Relax, kid. You want to buy one? Like, I just
And
imagine
Sora will be like, why do all these have horrible faces? Why can't they get my face right?
right?
The
Crazy.
shopkeeper hears Sora say that's me, and he quietly raises the price on the.
Yo, I believe that. I believe that. But going off into like the next segment, I mean, like, yo, we've been having like flash fire of like talks when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 4 and all that good jazz. But like into the next segment of Kingdom Hearts 4, the whole idea of this game possibly being that of like a bleaker, more serious, more darker entry in the Kingdom Hearts series, which of course, you know, like you guys already know me when it comes to me talking about Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts has the capacity to be extremely serious, extremely dark, but now I feel like we're possibly going to explore different avenues of maturity and bleakness and darkness within Kingdom Hearts 4. I want to go around the room and ask you guys, how do you feel about that in contrast to what we've experienced with Kingdom Hearts, you know, since the beginning? I'm going to throw that over to Paul first. Let's hear your thoughts.
Well, I think it's really interesting that, well, I mean, you know, Nomura always really wants to kind of explore those dark themes, especially with Versus 13. Like, that's kind of where he wants to go as he grows as a creator, as a writer. And I feel like it would be a shame. Obviously, Kingdom Hearts 1 started off as this very adolescent kind of coming of age story with this young spunky kid, and it kind of gets a little bit more in depth and serious as it goes, and we start dealing with kind of more serious themes, and definitely requires more intelligence and maturity as you go into these stories to understand the complexity of it. So I feel like it's a series that it almost in a really special way caters to the fans who grew up with it, where it's like, you're growing up with this series, I'm going to cater to you as the fan now at this age, rather than kind of, you know, obviously there's Disney worlds in this and stuff, but it's not going to like say, all right, you know, this game is for this brand new generation. I feel like it's kind of talking to us on the same level, and then kind of the younger generations come up to it. And it really, this series more than any other series, it really reinforces play every game. So it's one of those things where it's like, as we're seeing right now with the Union Cross and, you know, with the characters appearing in Kingdom Hearts 4, it's like, you want to understand this, you got to start from the beginning. So, you know, grow up with this game if you want to get into it. And I feel like it's kind of a very complex game to just start, you know, Kingdom Hearts 3 and or Kingdom Hearts 4 for that matter, and to understand what's going on. You might enjoy the experience, but moral of the story, I'm down for the darker themes. Let's grow up, you know, we're getting there. We're ready for it.
Exactly. I definitely agree with that. And like, you know, seeing this transformation of the game, like, you know, 20 years in the making is still going on, and I would love to, you know, for them to explore these aspects, especially when it comes to the whole idea of, you know, Sora growing up and, you know, facing like this new realm of the unknown. But next, we're gonna go ahead and throw it over to Endakuba to hear his thoughts on, you know, the pervading darkness that is possibly Kingdom Hearts 4.
I'm gonna be honest with you, like, Paul kind of like took everything like right out of my mouth. But,
there it is.
He's spitting facts though. Like, I think the notion is, you know, like, Kingdom Hearts is a series that has developed with, you know, like, the vision of Disney and Square Enix colliding as its main premise, right? But as we go on, Kingdom Hearts is a series where, yes, Disney IPs being within the games is cool and all, but I don't think that it's a series that can't flourish while going through with a darker tone. Because, like, especially in the earlier days, right? I mean, a lot of the Disney worlds we had were, like, the happy-go-lucky or, like, kind of, like, worst case, like, kind of, like, mid, like, not too happy-go-lucky, not too serious, like, worlds. And then as we progress, like, you know, we start to see, like, somewhat of a shift, right? And now here in Kingdom Hearts 4, where it's a lot more bleak, it's a lot more bland. Heck, even from the first trailer, it's not, like, super colorful and vibrant like how it was with Kingdom Hearts 3, but no, it's like a grayscale, like, a lot more serious, a lot more realistic. It's a direction where with Kingdom Hearts 4, they can drive it and explore new territory. That's what I really want to see more than anything. And especially, we all know, like, it's no secret, you know, like, this is built off of his ideals of what's it called, Final Fantasy Versus 13. Right. So see it take that realistic and serious approach. I mean, for starters, we're finally getting Versus 13. It's just Kingdom Hearts 4.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, like, it's something unique and different, and I'm all down for it. And of course, we're still gonna have our Disney, so yeah. Of
course, yeah, of course. You know, that's a really interesting perspective that you bring up when it comes to, like, the whole idea of how, you know, Kingdom Hearts can flourish, if it can or can't flourish within, like, I would say, the box of darkness that, you know, Kingdom Hearts 4 may be able to provide us. But, you know, just because something is, like, you know, dark and serious and mature doesn't, you know, it doesn't mean it doesn't allow, you know, for the light to shine in certain aspects. And you know, darkness exists within every heart, according to Nomura. Well, I mean, of course, if you don't count the princesses of heart or whatnot. So I like to see how we explore those darker avenues of the heart and Nomura's own interpretations on that. We're going to throw the ball over to Roger's base next when it comes to these more serious tones and flavors that possibly Kingdom Hearts 4 can give us.
Yeah, I mean, I think they are not mutually exclusive at all. I mean, so many Disney movies are very dark in their themes. I mean, like a lot of, I mean, even not to just throw out a bunch of random worlds, but like you could go to something like Atlantis, for example, which is a much darker story that still is so good. Not necessarily like one of the big classics, but it's a cult favorite for sure. And I think there's a lot of those properties they could look into while, you know, going through other ones we brought up. Star Wars obviously being a big one. The Avengers stuff, the Marvel related stuff, even the Disney movies, like I mentioned earlier too, with like Frozen 2, Princess and the Frog, Coco, Soul. There's been a lot of stuff recently that's dealt with darker themes and death, even like adolescence. And so, I mean, look at Turning Red. Like, I'm sure Turning Red's a little too new to put in Kingdom Hearts, but I feel like even that, like having the spiritual plane with like the red pandas and stuff, they could do something neat with that. I think there's a lot of cool opportunities for Disney related worlds that still match that tone. Oh, go ahead.
Never say never. They put Chicken Little in, so.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I hope though. I hope to God we never get a Chicken Little world though. I'll tell you that right now. I don't want a Chicken Little world.
We won't. Yeah.
But on that topic though too, I still think there's a lot of realistic, not necessarily super dark, but more mature Disney films that are live action that aren't related to something like a Star Wars or a Marvel, that is more along the lines of something like Mary Poppins that they can use as well, right? That are just as iconic. I think whoever brought it up earlier, I'm sorry that I'm forgetting who it was, but like whoever brought up Indiana Jones, immediately I was like, oh my God, we're for sure gonna get Indiana Jones, because I'm thinking about like the chain blade thing that he uses in this first trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4, where like he whips it into the air and then he goes like flying into the Heartless. Like they could easily do something really cool there with like the whip mechanics, being chased by the boulder, and then maybe even potentially like going meta with it, right? If Kingdom Hearts is a game within Quadratum, who's to say that like Disneyland isn't a place, and like potentially exploring like a Quadratum Disneyland, right? Like having a world based on a Disney theme park and him seeing these rides that are worlds that he's visited before, and he's like, what the heck, why is there this dark ride that you're sitting on? We're going through Alice in Wonderland, and why are they spinning teacups? Like, you know, I think having that type of realistic flair to it could be a really neat way to then look at these Disney franchises without necessarily having to re-explore those worlds, but like seeing them in a real world context, as in something like a theme park.
Right. Now, because I definitely think that's a huge possibility, because I've seen people like, you know, sandbag the idea that, oh, like that sounds like such a goofy idea for Sora to go to Disney World or Disneyland or any type of theme park in which like it conveys what he's seen exploring these Disney worlds in the previous games. I'm like, no, that's not out of the realm possibility, because Nomura even said that the theme for Kingdom Hearts 4 is that they're going to approach the contrasting perspectives of the people from Sora's world, addressing Quadratum as a type of fictional afterlife, where the people who actually are born and living and breathing in this world perceive Sora's world as a fictional world, something that shouldn't exist or whatever, because it's fiction to them. And then the best way to help convey that idea along is to actually have Disney World in Tokyo, you know? So wait, I'm pretty sure Disney was in Tokyo or Osaka? Like
Disney's in Tokyo. They have Disney Sea, yeah.
Okay, all right. So it's awesome, like park too. Yeah, easily go there, and then like, you know, that whole perspective, like, you know, putting, I would say, Sora in a type of existential crisis. It's like, oh, what's real, what's not? You know, like, am I real? Did I come where I came from? Is that real? I mean, like, I see this Heartless and it's like screwing up the city, but I mean, like, to have those questions, you know, floating around will be a really interesting way to address, I would say, this new avenue or this new arc of the Lost Master arc of Kingdom Hearts. For the next one, we're gonna go ahead and throw it over to Erica. How do you feel about, you know, this darker tones that Kingdom Hearts 4 can be giving us?
I love stories with darker tones, and I feel like it's time. Like, I feel like the last arc was us growing up with Sora, and now I feel like, I mean, based on his model, he looks pretty grown up, even though he should still be like 16 based on
16 pushing 17.
Yeah. But he's almost a grown up, and I feel like this next arc is like less about growing up and more about being an adult, maybe.
Yeah.
But so I'm down with the dark stuff, but I really want a happy ending, and I'm nervous that because the theme is death, I'm like, what if, like, I could see if I was writing this story, it would be a pretty cool ending to then have Sora be like, no, I have to move on, and then like accept dying, and then everyone else has to live without him, and I don't want it, but it would be cool, but also no, I hate it.
Wow,
so,
a world in which Sora wouldn't exist anymore, like as the primary character of the franchise, would be wild.
No, I don't like it.
That the really messed up perspective on that, Erica, which is like what could happen is that like Kingdom Hearts has been going on for 20 years, and it's been Sora this whole time, and this could be the way for him to like exit
pass
the curtain.
Torch.
Yeah, it's like and then we go back to the world that Sora came from, but Sora's no longer there, and now we have to deal with a new Keyblade wielder or a new group of friends that like talk about the stories of Sora, and now he is legend, and now like no, I don't want to think about that. That's too sad. I can't. Like,
I feel like it's not out of the realm of possibility, which makes me nervous because
it's
not bad writing. Like that would be compelling writing. So I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I'm down with definitely more dark stuff, and I hope that they get into more dark themes with the whole death thing. I hope Disney doesn't make them like really shy away from that a lot,
Right.
But yeah, I also wanted to comment on, you said that the Princesses of Heart, you were like, everyone has darkness in their hearts except for them. But a question. Do they eventually get darkness in their hearts? Because in Kingdom Hearts 3, they were like, those old Princesses of Heart, they're no good anymore. We have these new ones. And I've always wondered, I'm like, why though? Like, do they, what happened?
So, like, the way Yen Sid explains it, the way Nomura explains is that, their time protecting the light has passed. Because the reason why the Princesses of Heart are the Princesses of Heart, and that's why they have no darkness, is because they are all protecting one of the original pure lights that, the Keyblade, 7 lights, 13 darknesses. They're each protecting one of those, and because as long as they have one of those hearts, then they cannot have darkness. If they pass that along, then it's darkness time, baby. Then yeah, like they're gone.
Do you think after they were all kidnapped, they had a little meeting and they were like, yeah, we don't want to do this anymore. Let's just give it to the next one.
We know Star Wars is going to be in Kingdom Hearts 4. Let's pass this off to Leia and let's get a drink, all right?
It could be possible.
Chewie.
Kari's the only one who didn't give that up, apparently. And so, like, it's definitely possible that they came together. It's like, okay, listen, we need to, like, send off the light to someone else, and then that can introduce, like, we know for a fact it's Kairi, what do you call it, Rapunzel, Anna, Elsa. Yeah. They could bring in Moana. They could bring in Vanellope. Other princesses, yeah. .exe. So thank you for that. Wait, which one? Oh, yeah, Tiana, of course. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah, easy. Now, I'm going to throw the ball over to Dean as the last one to answer this question when it comes to the possibility of darkness within Kingdom Hearts 4. Let's hear your thoughts.
Yeah. So first off, that thing that you were talking about, Erica, about Sora moving on, it was very nice. Well, it wasn't very nice, but it was very heartbreaking. But Nomura has commented very firmly, it was years ago, but very firmly, Sora will be the protagonist of Kingdom Hearts until the end, no matter what.
Well,
so,
I know he said that, but he changes his mind sometimes.
He does.
So
he does.
I don't trust what he said in the past.
Okay, don't plant these seeds of doubt into my heart. But speaking on Kingdom Hearts 4 being darker, I'm all for them tackling darker themes. In fact, I felt like that was something that was kind of missing a bit recently that I'm really looking to sink my teeth into. And like my condition is I don't, no matter what, at the end of the day, I still want Kingdom Hearts to be Kingdom Hearts. I want it to carry its same themes, its same feel, maybe. you know, just general themes of the heart and light and all that, like overcoming darkness. That's something I do always want to see. But, you know, having it be a little darker and a little bit more grown up is super, super cool. And I'm so down for that. When I think of Dark Kingdom Hearts, my mind immediately goes to Birth by Sleep for Dark Kingdom Hearts. That game, I feel like...
Oh, the Infinite Sadness, yeah.
Yeah, that game did a Dark Kingdom Hearts very, very well, but you still played that game and you felt these uplifting moments and you saw the light in these characters despite their tragedy. And I think it's a game that really stuck with people. It has a special place in my heart because of the approach they took there. And there's other places in the series that have their darker spots, but Birth by Sleep really, really kind of exemplified that. And that's kind of like my idea of Dark Kingdom Hearts. That maybe even my limit. That's where I'm like, okay, I'd love to see Dark Kingdom Hearts like that. My only thing about that is, you know, if you are gonna put some darker themes in Kingdom Hearts and maybe like a little bit more tragedy, let a tragedy be a tragedy and let it stay that way, because we all kind of got comfortable. We've been comfortable with,
I know, everyone
characters coming back. Right?
Yeah, like when Kairi was killed and then it's like, oh, she's fine. Multiple times.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, at what cost though? Like, at what cost? Like, here we are.
That's true.
So.
This is the first time there's been consequences for bringing somebody back. So
I got to interject real quick. I will say, if Kairi did just like go out like that, I low-key would have been pretty disappointed, because
I would have raged.
Yeah, I'm just like, yo, like, does Kairi get to do anything? Oh no, she just dies.
Just dies.
I was playing that part and my husband was in the room, and when she died I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And he was like, oh no. Was that the girl that you like? And I was like, yes, and she didn't fight at all. And I am so mad.
Yo, when I first saw that scene when like Kairi's death, I'm like, I was like, I stopped and did a double take. I'm like, yo, did that happen? Oh wow, she's dead. Like, and then like Sora was able to restore her, but like, you know, at the cost of his own existence. And I'm just like, that hit me a lot harder than I expected it to, because I was always saying that like, oh, you know, people are gonna die, This war, this is the Keyblade War, who's gonna get smoked? And I'm like, yo, Kairi got the smoke. I'm like, wow, Kairi's the one who got the smoke. That's wild.
Nomura hates her for some reason.
I wouldn't use like, hate is a strong word. And, you know, to be fair, yo, in Remind, that Kairi gameplay slapped. That was...
Oh, yeah, finally. Yes, finally in the DLC, I was like, this is all that I've wanted for 2 decades of my life. Thank you.
But I really liked it. But that was just a shell-shocking moment within Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm like, oh, this is it. We go into the end of the Xehanort saga. But Paul has something to say, so we're gonna throw the ball over to Paul. So let's hear it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and as I was thinking about this, I kind of became conflicted in my own thought process of it. It's like, because there is the connection to Disney, to this franchise, I feel, or felt maybe, that there was always kind of a limit in terms of how kind of dark the themes can go. Although Disney as a company, I feel like they're acquiring all these various properties that in turn kind of have darker themes. So I feel like there is now that possibility for it to kind of get darker in a way, and to really go that way. I mean, I would also really like to see Sora, like, and again, I don't know if this will ever happen, but really kind of experience that, like we were all just talking about, like that despair and maybe even like rage for him to lose himself truly. I mean, we've seen it kind of with Riku, and other characters, you know, people succumbing to the darkness, and even, you know, Sora to a degree, but to really kind of deal with that aspect of rage and angst and despair, I feel like would really be an interesting thing for him to experience on like a real level, not like the fairy tale version of it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
if only they'd let Elsa do that in the Frozen world.
Yes.
Speaking my language.
That was all a theory, a game theory.
A game theory, but I think it's a correct game theory. So
no, I bet you think Link is dead and that Sans is Ness. But we're not even gonna talk about that.
Hey, I didn't say every game theory is a correct game theory. I just think that particular one makes a lot of sense. Because how does Larxene make an ice palace? That doesn't track.
No, like, water is ice is just solid water, and like electricity. I'm not a scientist.
They don't mesh. It doesn't make any sense.
Can anyone answer that? It's actually like possible with like if you.
Whatever.
Roger.
I don't think so.
That is absolutely not what my point was going to be. No, HMK.
I know. But you had something to say.
I was just going to bring up because Paul was talking about the potential of like being in a really dark story, right? And then him having to come back from that. Maybe we're wrong, and that Star Wars world actually is an Endor. It is Rogue One. And it's when they're getting the plans to the Death Star and everyone dies.
No,
and then he gets there.
I love that movie, but I don't need to see it again. No.
And then Sora goes to Endgame and everyone dies.
And then he gets stabbed in Endgame too, and he's like, "What the hell's going on here?" First Thanos kills everybody, then Darth Vader killed everybody. That's what he's dealing with. Yeah.
Oh no.
Sora's gonna grow up real quick.
Yeah, he's just going to worlds where everyone just dies in the end, and he's like, "Oh no!"
Just
Thanos, I gotta say though, I didn't even think about that. Like, I've been so stuck on that Darth Vader super boss idea, but like a Thanos super boss would be fire with all the different Infinity Stones, and you're flying around like, oh my god.
But then people will be mad, like, because of course he don't have to be beatable, but then people will be mad. It's like, oh wow, Sora can beat the Infinity Gauntlet with all 6 stones, and I'm like, man.
Of course
I don't think that kind of works.
What do you mean? Of course he can.
You know, this is
friendship. I mean, you know.
This is like the start of an arc. This is the start of an arc. It's not one game. So what if this game ends where Infinity War ends, and then not only that universe half gets snapped, but half of the Kingdom Hearts universe also gets snapped.
Wow. Now that's actually a really great idea too, because I think Maleficent has sort of been this secondary primary villain since the first game, and ultimately like has, at least personally for me, been kind of a letdown. Like, we even were talking about the box earlier. It's like, yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, if you're gonna do another secondary major villain for this story arc, you're totally right. Make it Thanos, right? Have him snap in one of the games and do exactly like you mentioned. Have that reversal, have to bring everybody back. Like, the opportunity is definitely there for it. And
Minnie Mouse vanishes in Mickey's arms.
I was about to say that! Yo, Erica, you were just reading my mind. I was literally waiting for Roger's face. I was about to say, like, yo, Minnie gets snapped out of existence.
I love it.
Like,
I love it.
Nah.
Yeah.
Man, that
whoever said it earlier, though, like, you're totally on point. We're for sure getting an Avatar world, like, no doubt about it. Because not only are they making all the sequels, but they're pushing Pandora in the parks. Like, they definitely want Avatar to be a thing. And, like, for however you feel about the movie, like, the artistry of the actual planet of Pandora is really pretty, and I think would lend itself nicely to a game. So that's probably gonna happen.
Yeah, I feel like that's I would like put money on that.
Yeah, same.
You know, it's funny. Someone in the chat, Katie in the chat said that what if Sora shows up to like Star Wars during Order 66? And I'm like, okay, listen, I would love that, but I mean, if we're dealing with Endor, that's way past that. But I mean, maybe if he like runs into Luke or anything, he just relays the story that, you know, Obi-Wan Kenobi told him about, like, you know, the fall of the Jedi Order, the Empire, and just like, you know, that really sad storytelling. Have you guys ever seen that one edit on YouTube? Like, this edit makes me cry. It was an edit with like the perfect music of how Obi-Wan Kenobi was recounting his time with Anakin, when then like Luke is like, how did my father die? And it was just like they show scenes from the prequel trilogy, and it's like really nice music is in the background. I'm like, okay, whoa. If I actually saw this in theaters, I would cry. But you guys didn't see that video.
I feel like the Star Wars holiday special should be the one.
Please, no.
Yeah,
man. Poor Mark Hamill. He looked so lifeless in that. Man, I was
what's the name of the weird little Chewbacca sibling in that?
Ewoks. The Chewbacca kids. I don't know.
Man,
what's his kid's name?
I forget all the
Taz the Tasmanian Devil. I don't know.
I was just gonna say make him a summon.
Do you all really think we're not gonna? It's just not gonna be a Mandalorian world, and we're gonna have to like shepherd Baby Yoda around?
Oh
I feel
my
like
god,
that
that'd be amazing too. That'd be amazing too.
Can you imagine a Baby Yoda summon? Like, he just goes crazy with the Force. Like he's untrained, but he just uses the Force like randomly.
That would also make sense too, because there's even that episode in The Mandalorian where they're fighting in like that the jungle village, right? And they're fending off the ATST along with the other villagers. So I mean, he could literally be coming in on that episode of The Mandalorian. You're right.
Yeah.
That would make as much sense as Endor would.
And you know, honestly, like, yes, it's Nomura writing what he wants to write, but I mean, Disney does have a say, and I feel like they would be like, why don't you do the ones that are continuous so that people will get into that franchise, you know, and like watch them. So it would make more sense to have a Mandalorian storyline.
To be fair, Return of the Jedi is a very big part of the Mandalorian. So I mean, like, to give you guys, I don't know, like,
oh yeah, of course, yeah, they're both, yeah.
Let's refer to the profit sheet.
Yeah, yo, I would not hate a Din Djarin boss fight. I would not hate that, you know.
Yeah.
I'd imagine Mando would be your partner, though, right? Like, wouldn't Mando be your partner during the world?
Nah, man, this is the way.
It's like,
nah, it's like, well, you was a space wizard, you know, like Jedis and Mandalorians are, you know, enemies. But
there just has to be a lightsaber keyblade. That's my only contingency.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
Do you think if Sora is traveling around to these worlds without Donald and Goofy, that he'll get different companions that come with him to all the worlds, or will it just be like in Dream Drop where he has different companions? Or I mean, he had.
Can you
like per world? You mean?
Yeah. But like, do you think he'll just make friends with everybody when he's there and then leave, or they'll be like, I don't know, World Ends With You characters that just go with him everywhere?
Look,
and
I'd
all
fine with
be in the
that.
whole
I'm
game.
sure Paul would.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No comments. No comments.
I was actually thinking about that because I mean, Strelitzia is a Keyblade wielder, right? Imagine like Sora getting to know more and more people throughout Quadratum, aka Strelitzia, Luke's sword, whatchamacallit, Mage, Aegis, Yuzora, possibly even more characters. And then, like, when he's decided to explore these other areas within Quadratum itself, like Shibuya, possibly the Endor Forest, which I feel could take the place of the Harajuku Forest, Shinjuku, all that good jazz. When he's traveling with them, you can, like, you know, okay, Mage, today I'm gonna take you with me, and then you level up in this mission, and it's like, oh, Strelitzia comes with me this time, you level up in this mission and whatnot. Imagine something like that, where you get to choose the people that you go to. I mean, at the same time, that would be, like, discounting the ability of how they could progress the story. So maybe like all of them tagging along would be cool.
I was gonna say, I feel like that's too different from the way the story is structured in Kingdom Hearts to work, because then they would have to like write the cutscenes to work with anyone. They'd have to be like blank slates. Yeah, so I don't think that would work.
I was also gonna say, like, we've seen, like, you know, not necessarily with Sora, but, you know, like in Birth by Sleep, there were no partners, right? Well, apart from like certain scenarios. So it's like, if they wanted it to just be solo Sora, they could. And I think it would also like kind of give off the notion, hey, yo, Sora, like Donald and Goofy aren't here, but it's just you. You got to do it this time. So,
yeah, I mean, I could see them doing that, and he'll be lonely. But, yeah.
I'm ready for him to be lonely.
I really think we're gonna be hopping around characters. I think we're gonna be whether, like we were talking about earlier, controlling Kairi, Riku, and Sora separately. I just think there's so much stuff. I mean, and are Ventus and Aqua and Terra, are they gonna have any other player? Are they still exploring the dark? Are they still off on their ventures? You know.
Well, Kairi's training with Aqua right now, so I don't. Though, okay, I was so sure that the tutorial of Kingdom Hearts 3 was gonna be you playing as either Kairi or Lee when you're training to be a Keyblader, and then they didn't do that. So now I'm like, maybe they won't ever have us control the people that I want us to control. Right. I don't know.
I was honestly thinking that when it comes to like the whole perspective of like Sora being by himself, I'm like, listen, like that's fine. And then, you know, he could just always remember like the power that, you know, his friends always afford to him, and then he could make new friends in different ways that, you know, like, because everyone's so welcoming to Sora. Like, okay, mostly everyone's so welcoming to Sora when they first meet up, you know, because that's how Disney movies run. So it'll be really interesting to see how, you know, that could even be like a whole life simulator additional story, or not story, but gameplay aspect for Quadratum, where, you know, Sora has to build these relationships manually instead of them just happening in Kingdom Hearts. I would love that, kind of like, you know, rank 10 in Persona, or, you know, I was gonna bring up the World Ends With You, but I mean, they pretty much get off on the right foot most of the time. But yeah, like social links, like life simulators. I would definitely like to see, like, you know, Luxor at level 10 or Yozora level 10, you know, in terms of friendship, actually building these relationships instead of just, you know, unlocking them from the get-go. But Erica has something to add to that, so I'm gonna throw the ball over to you.
I literally just forgot what I was gonna say, but it was gonna be really cool, and I'll try to remember what it was.
While you're thinking of it, I'm gonna grab something real quick then. Is because we're on the topic of talking about these other worlds and realistic things, and I saw the music notes in Erica's profile picture, and that reminded me, you know, we always have some type of musical related world. Obviously, we just had Melody of Memory too. So music's like a big part of Kingdom Hearts. Do you think we are going to get some type of minigame-esque Winnie the Pooh or like KH1 Little Mermaid type world in which it's like music oriented? And if we are, why is it High School Musical?
No. I knew you were gonna be like that, Roger. No. But I'm saying, like, you want a musical minigame world aspect? Easy, bro, easy. Sora just goes to Akihabara and boots up theater rhythm. That's it.
Oh, that'd actually be cool. I'd like that. Theatrhythm in Kingdom Hearts would be cool.
I'm really liking this High School Musical idea here. I think that's what we need. Sora learns to become in musicals and
we're all in this together. That's right. Once we all get our hearts back, we're no longer heartless. Or I don't know.
I want him to be in a world where everyone just starts singing and he starts singing. It's like a musical world.
Oh man,
that'll be funny.
Erica, the ball is yours now. Yeah,
I remember. Okay. So, I was thinking about how in Melody of Memory, again, how Kairi, like, summons Sora, basically, I guess, when she's in trouble. What if they can do that, like, back and forth in this game? But they can't talk to each other. Like, it seemed like, again, Sora couldn't communicate with her, but they could summon, like, spirit versions of each other back and forth. So he could summon Donald and Goofy as kind of a spirit form every once in a while, and they could summon him as like a spirit form every once in a while.
Yo,
that's how he gets like help. Like he could summon Riku, he could summon Aqua, he could summon like whoever's available.
Now, you know? I pick up what you're putting down. I had this big theory. I was like planning to make a video on it, but I was just like, I'm gonna have to need a lot of editing for that. But I was saying that, like, yo, what if just like, you know, Kingdom Hearts 4 tears a page right out of Persona 5 Strikers, where the like Sora is able to gain spirits of everyone he's met throughout his journey, and then they assist him in fighting. Like, he has his own combos, but then, like, you have a heavy attack that can end off with the spirit he's using, and they have elemental properties. Like, he's summoning them like personas, like, you know, Aladdin, Jack Skellington, and, like, Genie, what do you call it, Alice, you know, Cheshire Cat. Like, he literally is able to find all these spirits, like, remember who his friends are, and then they fight alongside with them. And then he's able to unlock other spirits by using certain spirits with missions. Like, you do a mission with the Jack, like, in order to unlock this spirit, do a mission with the Jack Skellington spirit. And when you do, you unlock 0. And then, you know, like, all these, like, other, I would say, Persona-like things that could, like, literally be collected and leveled up. And I'm just like, hey, listen, come on, you know, that'll be a cool way to not introduce, but I mean, like, represent Disney without particularly going to the worlds in Kingdom Hearts 4. So, I mean, give me that.
Yeah.
Build mechanic, question mark?
Oh, true, yes.
It's like in Dream Drop Distance, you have a little room where you have all your little friends, and you can pet them and give them treats, and then summon them when
Chow garden with like Disney characters, inject it right in my veins. Honestly, like that would be so good.
I honestly hate I hate that theme so much, the Dream Eater theme. It's like, man.
The song theme?
The song.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant like
the idea.
No, I love the idea. I love monster building and creation. Like, people sandbag that from gym jobs. I love that so much. I love monster.
Oh, yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was cute. It was like Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, but I just hate the theme. But I'm gonna throw the ball over to Dean and like ask him what his feel, or like, you know, I would say possible additional gameplay aspects. We've been talking about things like social links, or possibly like Kingdom Hearts version of Personas, or even that of you know, musical worlds. What is something gameplay wise you like for them to explore in Quadratum, specifically for Quadratum, or if you have any ideas of your own?
Ooh, gameplay wise for Quadratum, I was thinking, you know, it is cool to have kind of like a D-Link-ish way to call back to your friends, and the Sora Kairi thing from Melody of Memory was really cool.
Yeah.
I was thinking a big theme of this game is Sora kind of being alone. So besides him meeting like Strelitzia or maybe Magia and Aegis, like I think it's going to be all new characters and a very alone feeling until he reunites, which may be the middle of the game, maybe the end of the game. Who knows? But as for gameplay mechanics, someone did bring up the build mechanic earlier, and I wanted to touch on, I feel like the build mechanic would be a more free way to do kind of Keyblade transformations, sort of like was demonstrated in the trailer. It was just a reaction command in the trailer, very conceptual.
Yeah.
But the way that he made a drill without actually transforming his Keyblade, and it almost looks like he absorbed the dark side's punch and got something out of that punch that determined what he was going to build. I think that's going to be a big theme in the build and scrap, is you getting materials or getting pieces from the things you encounter and then being able to make something out of it, maybe tear down what you built before in order to build something new. And maybe you can have like 3 builds, because maybe you can hold like 3 Keyblades. I thought about it very, very deeply, but I do think, much like Lingering Will in Kingdom Hearts 2, he showed off Keyblade transformations very early. Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, I believe Yozora did nothing but use the build mechanic against you the entire time. And like, yeah, on the continue screen, it does say, be wary of Yozora's creations. If you die on him, he builds Gigas. Ew, but he builds Gigas. He builds weapons. He builds lasers.
Bro. They're coming. I'm telling you, they're coming.
Sora's definitely going to build some mechs. But I also think I'm going to go take it a step further. And I'd say, even in the cutscene where Yozora met Sora and they flashed Sora's heart briefly, that whole Quadratum that appeared, that was all build. That was all build. It was just a fake Quadratum that Yozora built, and his only weapons are built and everything's built. And it was demonstrating Kingdom Hearts 4. That's my thoughts.
Oh, Yozora is God.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, build and scrap, and then like literally when he was done beating Sora's ass, he scrapped the world. He's like, all right, we're going back to the final world. Holy shit, that's what happened. Yeah. And then we see that in the Venom Rex trailer where he's like, you know, building and scrapping. He's like literally like when he was doing that giant, like I would say pyro ball, where he was like sucking in a bunch of Gigases and just breaking them apart. That's literally like what Sora was doing with the drill in the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer. And I'm glad like people are finally bringing this up. I'm like, that, like, those abilities, those are Yozora's abilities that Sora's using in his own creative way. So I would really like to see how, you know, Kingdom Hearts 4 explores this level of creativity, in which how, you know, players will be able to like, okay, let's see what we can do with this. Like, Jules will be better in this situation. Would this be better in this situation? What can I build here? And then, you know, exploring Quadratum and finding new ways to build, new things to build, new ways to scrap, new things to scrap, or whatever, and finding out what materials could make what would be a very, very interesting way to, like, you know, bring in a new gameplay aspect of Kingdom Hearts. Because, I mean, Keyblade transformations were cool, but, like, you know, Keyblade creations would be very, very cool, in my opinion. And, you know, going off that idea when it comes to, you know, Sora learning the abilities from, you know, Yozora, and then, you know, Sora learning the abilities from Living Will when it came to Keyblade transformations, and then like scrap and build. I think it would be extremely, like, very, very, very cool if I would say Keyblades, because I mean, obviously this Kingdom Hearts 4, we're gonna have multiple Keyblades. And then multiple Keyblades have their own, I would say, you know, attributes in terms of building. And then they could build things in different ways if we're going to be dealing with the whole, like, oh, I have 3 Keyblades on me. It's like, okay, I build something with the Kingdom Key, right? Because the Kingdom Key gives me +1 on building off darkness. But then I swap, and I hold that. And I swap to Oblivion, and then Oblivion has +5 on scrapping what I just built with the Kingdom Key, and then that'll give, like, cool ways, kind of like Devil May Cry a little bit, to, like, you know, pass one thing, you build with one Keyblade and you scrap with another, and then just going in with that. And just, like, these combinations of creation and, like, of construction and deconstruction is something that, you know, all of us can explore, and all of us can, like, you know, have our own set of builds. But that's just, I'm going off of that. So,
I feel that.
yeah.
I totally feel that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I'm sorry, I was just going off the rails. I was talking a lot. I'm gonna and Jakuba, you got this. Like it's all you. Go.
Hello. So the whole build and scrap mechanic is okay. So I don't think there's anything I can say concerning specifics, just because of the fact that if the sky's the limit, then literally anything can happen, right? And just based off of some of the, I'll say, Keyblade transformations, for example, would obviously be like the bare minimum of what Sora should be able to create, right? Mm-hmm. So, for example, if he wanted to make Ends of the Earth and have it transform like it's using Ultimate Cannon, then sure. Or like if he does want to make a Gigas, or heck, if he wants to make the Spirit Bomb, sure, I don't know. But like the main thing is just the fact that it's such a broad mechanic that's trying to specify like what it could be now is I couldn't even tell you where I would begin to think what it could be, right? Because oh my goodness, bro. Like, what if Sora built another Yozora? Yo, my brain fat. Jesus Christ.
Just builds another person. I don't know about creating another person, but
yeah, no, that might be too much. But
they would end up being heartless.
Vexen has done it, so
a replica.
True.
All right, they're just bodies. They're just. Here we go.
No, the replica is not just a body. He's like his own person.
Exactly.
Artificial hearts that are created from something else. You had to scrap something in order to build something new. They didn't come out of, my argument is that they didn't come out of thin air. Like they had to. Where
did Riku replica come from? What's his heart?
Oh, just like I don't. Wait, what?
Why couldn't there be a Yozora replica? Replazora. Wait, Yozora. No. Replazora. There we go.
Now you got me thinking. Hold on.
I know, right?
I wish the chat could see what I put in the Discord chat over here. But you guys were talking about building things, and then we were talking about, someone mentioned the gummy ship, and it just reminded me of like, because we were talking about mementos earlier too, and potentially Persona. I'm like, instead of the gummy ship, give us an on-rails shooter on a bullet train, right? Have it go to the different worlds, but have it be a Disney-themed, like a gummy Shinkansen, like a gummy train that takes you to each of these worlds, and that the hub to get to the different worlds is actually the subway of Quadratum.
That's cool.
Okay, that'd be dope.
I'd be down for that. I was initially thinking like, oh, like we summon it kind of like the Big Thunder Mountain train, but like I'm down for that. You know?
That's cool. We've even seen a gummy train before in Kingdom Hearts 2, so not too far fetched.
There you go. Exactly.
So cool.
Wait, you know what I just realized? Hold on. Because this would make a lot more sense now. Would attraction flow actually be in this game, seeing that he's in the quote-unquote real world?
No, God, please no.
Hey, whoa.
That's in the pirate ship and stuff, right? From 3? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he'll actually go to if that's gonna happen. He'll go to the theme park.
That's what I was
like,
gonna say,
yeah.
He'll like go there and he'll be like, "Excuse me," and shove aside the worker and be like, "I need this," and then he'll speed up the ship. And
Like boss battle against the plaids in Disneyland.
Yeah.
Right? No, he goes to Disney World and he sees like the Big Thunder Mountain train, and he's like, "All right, scrape," and then like he breaks it apart and just builds it somewhere else. So, like, "All right, build. Now it's mine."
You yank the kids out of the queue lines and chuck them against the wall.
Now children are crying in his way.
Get out of the way!
He's
I gotta get on Splash Mountain.
The world is at stake, and everyone's like, "Arrest this guy!" And then he has to run from the cops, and then it's GTA.
He accidentally runs over somebody, and he's like, "Don't worry, you're gonna be recompleted." And I'm like, "That's not how it works in this world." Like,
yeah, he's like, somebody's bleeding on the floor, and he's like, "That's all right, it's okay, your heart will come back." And they're like, "No, he's dead.
He's dead.
Sora.
That's it.
Idiot."
People actually die here.
Yeah, he's like,
Right,
"What?
yeah.
Dead? What does that mean?"
that's crazy.
I honestly, I just need attractions out, man. Look, they looked cool in the trailers and all, but usually,
Yeah, in actual gameplay, they were definitely a bummer. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to avoid them whenever possible, but sometimes I would accidentally hit them, and it was the worst.
Yeah, then mash L1.
Yeah.
But honestly, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this episode because we're like nearing on the 2-hour mark, and I have a lot of people here, and I don't want to keep them up. But we're gonna get our final thoughts around the room. We got 6 minutes left. We got 6 people here in this Kingdom Hearts 4 cast. Erica, let's start with you. What is the one thing that you're most excited about, either when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 4 or the future of Kingdom Hearts, that you've got a very small glimpse of with this trailer? Let's hear your thoughts.
I'm really excited that it's still gonna be like hype, because one of my favorite things is like talking about it with people like you guys. And I was like, before we played Kingdom Hearts 3, and before I knew it was gonna end on a cliffhanger, I was like, "Oh no, it's gonna be sad. It's the end of an era." But then now, yeah, and then even after Kingdom Hearts 3, I was like, well, the next game won't come out for a decade, so whatever. But now, hooray! It's already announced, and get excited, and now I have plenty of time to continue my musical puppet show, and great.
Ooh, I can't wait for the next episode. Honestly, I'm looking forward to that so much. I'm like refreshing your YouTube every day. I'm like, come on. Like,
it's very time consuming, but eventually, yes, I will make the next one. The next song is like 5.5 minutes long, so it's extra time consuming. But,
Let's go.
It's the big how I imagine the opening song would be. So it's the big opening number, you know. It's like extra long. Yeah.
I'm excited.
So,
oh my goodness. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw the ball over to Dean now. The same question. I already know you're excited from like Kingdom Hearts 4 is real. Kingdom Hearts is back. All right, your thoughts. What are you most excited about?
What am I most excited about? I'm most excited to play a game where I feel like Kingdom Hearts 3 was kind of a game where there was a team that was new to making a numbered title. There was a lot of gaining footing with like learning the Unreal Engine, learning how to make things in HD, a lot of pressure from not having a console game in like 12 years. So there was a lot of stuff riding on Kingdom Hearts 3 and a lot of kind of a learning experience going on there. And then they showed me kind of what they learned with Remind, and I can't tell you enough how much I love Remind. I feel like 4 will be their chance to really flex what they know and just focus on make the game. Focus less on, learning things and making the game. They can make like one of the greatest games ever, and they're really listening to fan feedback, putting in reaction commands. I did not expect that at all. So I'm super, super hyped. If you asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have said, I'm satisfied on Kingdom Hearts because Remind was just that good. I can wait. They can make Varen Rex first. But right now, I'm fully on board for Kingdom Hearts 4.
Yo, you put it beautifully, and I cannot wait for Kingdom Hearts 4 as well. And now, Endakuba, what is the thing that excites you the most when it comes to the future of Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 4?
Hello, my name's Endakuba. So I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, Kingdom Hearts 4 is something that I am unbelievably excited for, just to see like the direction that they take the Kingdom Hearts series. And if I'm not mistaken, they also, from the interview, or one of the interviews after they announced Kingdom Hearts 4, didn't they kind of state that Nomura wanted to make either Varen Rex or Kingdom Hearts 4, but decided with Kingdom Hearts 4? So if that's the case, then we know for a fact Verum Rex will become a game. So we have like that to look forward to in the future. And also, a lot of people are kind of back and forth about this. I'm personally hyped about this. Kingdom Hearts missing Link. It may be a mobile game, but its combat actually looks kind of crispy. I'm excited for it. Yeah, like the future is looking bright. And so long as they continue to like drive it in a direction that interests me, then I'm all for it. I mean, I'm a dude who has, I'm saying this with my chest. I've 100%ed every single Kingdom Hearts game that has ever existed. All of them. All right. And I will continue that trend for however long Kingdom Hearts lasts.
We'll all be like 87 years old and be like, oh, so excited for Kingdom Hearts 6.
I'll be like, yo, let me tell you when Kingdom Hearts first came out. Ooh. Have you heard about PlayStation 2? It's like, 2? What? Man, but honestly, great way to put it. And now I'm going to go ahead and throw the ball over to Paul Castro Jr. What is the most exciting thing that's in your mind and in your heart when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 4 and the future of Kingdom Hearts?
I mean, you know what I want to say, and I'm not going to say it just because I don't want to open that door. I'm not opening the door. I'm not going to open the door for...
You're opening the door, and then don't worry, the stream will be over in like 2 seconds. So like, you'll open the door. It's fine. No one's going to come after you.
I got Paul's back. Heartbreak comes quick and fast in this industry. You can't too hard about these things. You gotta just kind of arm's length.
I just want to play a great game. I'm so excited. And here's on the real. I did a playthrough of Kingdom Hearts 3. And listen, as Erica knows, this industry can get very busy doing a lot of random stuff, and you want to play the games that you're in. So there's a lot of games that I'm in. I haven't even got to play it, but I was having so much fun playing Kingdom Hearts 3 on Critical with some of the pro codes, and that was some of the best gameplay in the Remind that I've ever played. So if they're able to build upon that and create an experience that was very similar, in the fluidity and just how good it was and how like challenging you can make the game, that's honestly what I'm excited about. The story, obviously, closing up a lot of open ends that are happening right now, and I'm actually really curious to see how they tie in Union Cross and how much of that they're gonna make. Like, I mean, they did it with Chain of Memories, so it's like if you didn't play the Game Boy Advance game, you better play that mobile game or at least understand what's going on in it. So I'm really excited to see how they tie a lot of that stuff in and kind of hold you accountable as a fan to understand what's going on. So I'll be doing my homework, and I'm just really excited for the game. And who knows? You never know. But that's it.
Yeah, totally.
Definitely massive wink. But thank you so much. That you worded it perfectly, in my opinion. And now, last but not least, Mr. Roger. How are you feeling when it comes to the possibility of Kingdom Hearts 4 being something that could excite you for now and beyond? Tell me.
Oh yeah, I'm obviously super hype about it. I think I might be in the minority here of this group where like I like the core cast of characters in Kingdom Hearts, right? But like the greater overall lore, like the Union Cross, like I didn't even know who Strelitzia was when I watched the first trailer. I'm like, who's this other new girl? Like I don't know who this is. That aspect of it for me is way more fun when I'm talking to people who like know and are then able to fill me in, and then I'm like, okay, cool. Now I know more about this because now I can go into Kingdom Hearts 4 actually knowing everything. But if I'm talking about like what's honestly making me hype and like the reason I'm looking forward to it, it always comes down to the worlds. Always.
Ooh,
ever since the very first Kingdom Hearts, ever since like seeing it in the original EGM and seeing like Little Mermaid and Aladdin with these Final Fantasy characters and me losing my mind because it's this combination of all this stuff that I loved as a kid, I am really like frothing at the mouth over the possibilities of worlds with this one because of the darker themes, because of the characters that we know are going to have to play a role in the story, because of everything that we know that we've seen in the other games leading up to this point and what we know to expect with Quadratum. It's like I know the world choices are going to be out of this world, like no pun intended, and I really do feel like Kingdom Hearts 4 at the end of the day may end up having the best world variety if they do actually stick to the kind of stuff that we were talking about, if they do actually decide to take those risks and look out of the box and don't just like revisit a bunch of ones we've already been to before, but like really do something different with it. And I think if they've ever had an opportunity to do that, now's the time.
Let's let's all send Nomura thoughts about how we don't need to go back to Hercules world again.
Exactly.
But we're gonna.
That's a given.
No, we have exhausted it in all timelines. It's done. Let's go somewhere else.
See what they should do? They should meet Hades. They should meet Hades in the Dark Void or whatever it is in the trailer.
Yeah,
but have it not be the Hercules world, and Hades tags along with them to the land of the dead from Coco. And then it's awesome. And then they're like, wait a minute, the afterlife could be nice. And then maybe Hades gets some ideas from things from Coco. So there you go.
Honestly,
Hades redemption arc.
Right. Could you imagine Hades singing "Remember Me"?
No. Yo, James Woods. Okay.
Oh my God.
I'm honestly like, I get people's like abrasion to like, you know, Olympus coming back again in Kingdom Hearts 4, but for the first time in a long time, you know, because we finally got the climax of the Hercules movie in 3, which is insane. I like to see a post-Hercules movie Hades and see like how they're gonna adjust that. So that's like that's what I'm excited for. But ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all so much for coming on down to this explosive episode focusing on Kingdom Hearts 4 for the 5th dimension. Now before I toss y'all to the wind, I'm gonna go around the room once again with my cast here, and they'll let you know where you can find them because they all stream here on Twitch. Let's start off, ladies first. Erica, let them know where they can find you.
Yeah. Actually stream on YouTube, not Twitch.
My bad. All right. YouTube.
My
Stream.
YouTube
Just
is
stream. There you go.
Yes, my YouTube is with a K Games. And then I'm also on TikTok at with a K Erica and Instagram with a K Insta, and then Twitter is Erica Harlicker. They're all different. I didn't think ahead. You know, whatever.
It's fine. It works. They can find you.
Yeah.
All right, Dean, tell them where you can find you.
Yeah, I'm on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all under the same name, Sora Alam 1. If you ever have, you know, went online and looked up maybe how to create the Ultima weapon, you probably use my guides. So go check me out, and I'll be sure to bring some new ones for Kingdom Hearts 4.
Oh, look at you, so coordinated with the.
Man, I'm really excited for. Like every time I watch Dean play Kingdom Hearts, I'm like, yo, this is magical. Like I'm excited. All right, with that considered, Ndakuba, let them know where they can find you.
Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Ndakuba. You guys can find me on YouTube at Ndakuba, on Twitter at NdakubaYT, and on Twitch at Ndakuba. I primarily cover Dragon Ball and whatnot, but I will be covering Missing Link on my YouTube channel, and I'll be covering Kingdom Hearts 4 on my Twitch channel. So if you guys are interested in any of that, then go ahead and follow and subscribe and whatnot.
Do it. You won't regret this. All right, Paul Castro Jr., where can they find you?
Easily enough, you can find me. I stream on Twitch at Paul Castro Jr., and that's pretty much every one of my social medias, luckily. And I'm finishing a stream of Neo still, which is embarrassing because I've been playing Kingdom Hearts 3 and doing some other stuff. But yeah, I'll be finishing Neo pretty soon, I hope. And yeah. Check it out.
You definitely should. I mean, if you guys didn't know, you know, like that's the voice actor for Rindo, by the way. So you should definitely go check out the finale of Neo over on his channel. And then last but not least, Rogers Base. Where can they find you?
Yeah, I'm lucky. I got the brand Unity too. So you could find me at Rogers Base everywhere, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, and on Instagram. Every Tuesday here on Twitch, I stream Final Fantasy XIV. I've been having a blast with it. I'm currently at Stormblood, which is a big reason why I'm like, please put Eorzea and Y'shtola and everything in this. It'd be incredible. But yeah, I'm playing through that. And then starting in May, I'm officially going to be watching Avatar: The Last Airbender for the very first time. So I'm doing a full watch-through series of that.
You've never seen Avatar?
Never. No, I never saw Naruto except for last year, so this is my first time going through it.
Yeah. So my lord.
Yeah. My big watch through last year was Naruto, and my big watch through this year is Avatar, and it officially starts next month, which is pretty exciting. So I'm currently doing like some back end planning for that, but look forward to it in May.
I can't believe it. All right, I'm hyped. I gotta watch. Oh, I need to see you episode 1. Oh, that's gonna be good. Now, and of course, I am your host of The Fifth Dimension. You can find me everywhere on HMKilla when it comes to Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, along with Facebook. I hardly ever use that, but I mean, it's there. And I stream every Friday, The Fifth Dimension podcast, with many awesome guests, many awesome friends when it comes to various aspects of video game news and culture. And I stream a lot of Kingdom Hearts, so I mean, yeah. And I also am able to beat everyone here in Smash, so let that fact be known.
No.
What?
Yeah, man. I'll prove it to
let
you.
him, what does it
Come
matter?
fight
He
me.
could say whatever he wants. It doesn't matter. We all know we took W's on him, so it doesn't matter. He could say what he wants.
Right.
Man, I don't know what W's you be taking. I mean, like quadron W's, man. Like the fictional W's, gotcha. Now, last but not least, The Fifth Dimension is not only a podcast, it is also a Twitch stream that I run in hopes to get aspiring Twitch streamers up into the grandeur of possibly that of partner and beyond. And we are going to go ahead and raid another member of The Fifth Dimension who is known as Momo Pokemon 95, who is currently streaming Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 plus 2.5 Remix, in which he's playing Kingdom Hearts 1 using a dance pad. So be sure to go to the stream. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be grand. So be sure to go to that stream, show them our love. And until the next one, this has been HMK and the Kingdom Hearts 4 crew. Dive deep, be brave, and enter the Fifth Dimension. We'll check you guys later.